Why is every week you give us like a new recorder? I don't know how it works.
I don't really either. What? I'm still waking up.
And Tanner, why did you even where were you?
What? Yeah, how?
Whoa.
Okay, so, I'm sorry, everybody.
Wait, what? Mike? Bobby?
All right, we need to explain, Tanner.
Tanner, you don't need to act like you're confused. You are confused.
I'm confused.
Okay, Tanner, here's what's been going on. We have been continually getting drugged and dragged across the world to different places. Last week, we found ourselves in Indonesia.
Oh, yeah. We met the McCullum boys at a Sizzler.
Yeah, Shane and Terry were at a Sizzler in Indonesia. We were in Jakarta.
And we lost man at a 24-hour rub and tug.
We still don't know where he is. He hasn't shown up. He hasn't called us.
Dead.
He won't respond to anything. I assume he's still there. We were in France the week before.
Why?
So, all right, you see that phone?
Yeah?
That phone
Oh,
here?
Jesus, that thing's huge.
The fucking Zach Morris thing that's sitting here?
Yeah.
Dollars to the donuts, that shit's going to ring any minute now.
Yeah, he's going to call us at some point and
because,
tell us where we are.
All right, so here's the deal. Mr. C, I guess, is on the run again. He's pulling a car in San Diego.
So are we on the run again?
For whatever reason, he's dragging us along.
Tanner, what's the last thing you remember?
I remember being on a boat, but not this boat.
Yeah, so we're in a raft.
Yeah, we should fill this in for everybody. We're sitting here in a raft in the middle of a lake. I presume we're in Mexico based solely on the novelty sombreros we all had on when we woke up.
Well, that, and I can see, I think that's the set from WB Blue and the Bean over there. You remember where Linda took her little vacation?
That makes sense.
I see the piles of Coke, so I'm pretty sure that's...
I can't see. This sombrero is too big. I got to lift it up a little bit.
This must be really hard for you, Tanner, because we know how much you hate Mexican food. And
well, I like the hats. The hats are dope.
The hats are very nice. These bags over here, though, I've had a look inside them.
Yeah.
And it's full of El Torito. Now, I don't think there even is an El Torito in Mexico.
You don't think there's an El Torito in Mexico? I thought it was authentic Mexican cuisine.
I don't want to find out either
so
way.
This is like a trifecta for you, Tanner, because you hate Mexican food. You hate chain restaurants.
It's okay. It's fine. I do hate chain restaurants.
You've gone on multiple rants about how much you hate the country of Mexico. Which
no,
is really
I don't
weird.
hate the country. I don't hate the country of Mexico. Just you know, just the food that came out of it is okay. It's
just
decent.
the food.
Everything's decent, but their hats are great.
Did you like
really
the movie?
do like this hat. What movie?
We all watched a movie.
Wait, you guys watched it too?
Oh, yeah. Before we got here.
Oh.
Every time we passed out, we've been shown a movie, and then the next thing we know, we wake up somewhere else.
Wait, Intrépidos Punks?
Yeah.
I just watched that for fun.
Well, that's
Are we
why
talking about that today?
Yeah, Tanner. That's why we have this recorder and these microphones.
We doing an episode?
Yeah.
All right, you know what? Just wait. We're gonna wait for this phone to ring.
Hold on. Do you hear that? I think that's the hat dance as a ringtone.
Boy,
That's my ringtone.
Why is he calling on your phone?
No, I just have the same. I don't have my phone. I just have the same ringtone. I thought it was fun. It's amusing. Small
You're really
world, right?
coming around
Small
in
world.
Mexican culture and everything.
Listen,
You're really...
I think you overblow it. I'm ambivalent to the food.
No, I think this whole experience, while traumatic for us, may be good for Tanner. Tanner, why don't you pick up the phone?
All right. Wait, Jesus, this weighs a ton.
Calling in an airstrike.
Hello?
Hello, boys. How are you?
Mr. C, why are we in Mexico?
Oh, yeah, you're in Mexico. Bienvenidos.
Hola, ¿cómo estás?
Thank
That's
you.
all,
Senor C?
that's all I know. Stop it.
Mr. C, when do we get to go home?
Oh,
Home.
boys,
When do we get to go home?
I told you you're taking a month's vacation for the show. It's all on the Patreon dollars. We're going around the world. Let me tell you, they didn't get far. But your bank accounts are drained, and everything is taken care of.
Wait, hold on a second. What?
Taken care of.
Don't worry about it. So you're in Mexico today. You're there with your good friend Tanner, who's come around to the food from Mexico.
Thank you for the hat, sir.
I brought you some El Torito.
That does look pretty good on you, Tanner.
I brought
I'm
you.
rocking it.
Shut the fuck up while I'm talking to you.
Sorry, sir.
You're here to review the movie Intrépidos Punks. It's gonna be great. You know how I picked this movie?
How?
Out of a hat?
I know. I just googled Mexican movie Grindhouse, and this is the first thing that came up.
So that's it? That's what you put...
Shut up, Mike.
Hey, you know, that's more thought than Chris Mann put into Dead End Driving.
I like this kid, Bobby.
Mr. C,
Trippin', I do like you a lot. You're very funny.
I apologize for my frustration with all of this travel. I'm a little jet lagged, but I do appreciate all that you do for us, sir.
Yeah, that's great. So I think we're getting a little long in the tooth here, as they say. So why don't you go ahead and start your episode, and I'm just gonna leave right now. And when you'll know when it's time for your next mission. And Anna, it was nice knowing you.
Nice knowing you. It's gone.
Mission?
Nice knowing you.
Mission?
We have a... What? Well, we might as well get into it.
All right, good thing I took notes.
Buenos noches y bienvenidos. I'm Mike Wood.
Yo soy Bobby Trippett.
Mi llamo es Miguel.
And today we're talking about 1980s Intrépidos punks.
Caligula, pirate, throw her in the ditch.
Hey, Bobby, I got the money.
Dad, I made the team. But you're a hooker.
Get that goddamn thing out of your mouth.
What is it, knocker? I don't know. Spooky got no real rhythm.
We're gonna play a little game, baby.
I just love fun and games. Get a little girl all hot and horny.
This is Los Angeles. How the hell would women live? I'm horny. And maybe Daddy would have had to kill himself because he couldn't get it up anymore.
What a shame.
For jacking off. Come on, just step on the gas before we get creamed.
So guys, we're here in the middle of a lake in a raft filled around us by coke dealers and guys on horses and everything, and they got guns. But we're talking about Intrépidos punks today, and Tanner, if we don't finish the mission, we'll never get to go home. So
I'm confused by what the
is the
mission
mission?
is. What is the mission?
I don't know, Tanner. I don't think you're long for this world because I heard the words "nice knowing you." So I don't know.
I just think Mr. C was being polite.
Let me
It
just
was
tell
very
ya,
nice knowing me.
Every guest that's been on the show so far, we don't know what happened to them. So
Man's gone. The McCollum boys, I assume, were still in Jakarta.
yes, they were. The last we saw them, they were dressed like Native Americans, reenacting the Boston Tea Party. 4 people in Indonesia, and we were eating at a Sizzler with our waiter being the guy who started the movie.
Huh.
Yeah, it was something.
And I get a boat in the middle of a lake.
Yeah. With El Torito,
that.
you infamously love chain restaurants, you love Mexican food, and you like everything about Mexico.
I love everything
You
about
love
Mexico.
boating.
Yeah.
I love boating.
Yeah. You do like the hats.
I do like this hat.
You
is
said you were
bomb.
always looking to be boating down. Isn't that what you said?
More or less.
Didn't you say you were boating down your wife the other night?
Whoa. Whoa.
Did I hear that
Barrel down
correctly?
the hatches.
I'm kidding. I hit
Shiver me timbers.
Your wife is lovely,
Look.
and I apologize if she hears this.
It's been a long month for Bobby. He's
I'm
going
getting
all
a little,
over, man.
getting a little burned out.
Tanner,
on,
I
all this air travel.
I feel like this is payback for the time that you badmouthed Mexican food
Oh, maybe.
multiple times on this
Listen,
podcast.
I
I'm
think
not
Mr.
the one
C took it
bad-mouthing
personally.
it. I'm
I
saying
bel-
it's perfectly decent.
I believe that maybe this was
Little
the
overrated.
reason that we are doing this is because one time Tanner said there was a, quote, ceiling to Mexican food.
Yeah, it's only ever going to be pretty good.
Well, I can tell you what's not pretty good, this El Torito.
You're actually eating it.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm starving.
You don't know how long it's been sitting on this raft.
And I do have to say that the only thing we have to drink is a milk jug that's filled with water, and it's written on Sharpie. It says Mexican tap water. So I'm not sure what's
Yeah,
going
I
to give me the
I
runs
think
first.
you're the one who hates Mexico.
Is El Torito or the tap water?
The
This is-
end result is the same.
Let me tell you guys, the one time I was in Mexico, I made the mistake of drinking a drink with ice in it, and I paid the price. I really did.
Huh.
It's not a joke.
Surely. I mean,
No.
We've all been there.
Yeah. Tanner?
I've never been there.
Okay.
You know Tanner never went there.
So, guys, we're talking about Intrépidos punks, and it seems like Bobby has all the notes today for the background of this
I do
movie.
know a little bit about it. So let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah, let's do it.
Intrépidos Punks was directed by Francisco Guerrero. He's got 28 credits, mostly stuff that I was not able to find plot descriptions for. Working exclusively in Mexico. He, aside from this movie, most notably did 1989's Coronia Humana, which translates to Human Carrion.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
And I did translate the tagline off the poster: "Youth caught in an abyss of violence and death."
Like it.
Sounds pretty fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
So that's about all I have for Francisco Guerrero, the director. Do you have anything for the writers, Mike? I don't have anything down for the writers.
I just have their names, which is Roberto Marroquin
Nailed
and Ulysses Perez
Got the
Aguiar.
accent and everything. Nailed it.
It's like your native speaker.
Damn it, Tanner!
So our two heroes of this story, the two cops that are hot on the trail.
Are they the heroes?
Intrépidos punks. I think.
I would say they're the only rootable for characters.
Well, I feel like 60 minutes into this movie, they're past Mike Cross
Yeah.
with some
Maybe.
other characters. Maybe.
It is possible.
I fully expected it not to happen.
It's a real Dangerous Men thing where there's multiple movies going on, and then you're like, I wonder if all these people will meet at some point. And then you go, kinda.
It sort of comes together loosely. But the first of our leads, Juan Valentin.
Oh.
He's got 60 credits, mostly playing cops and cowboys. Yeah, it tends to be
Perfect.
mostly what he gets typecast as. But it turns out he's Francisco Guerrero's go-to guy, starring in almost all of his films.
Get Juan on the phone.
Basically, yeah. Francisco
right.
Guerrero, it was the Sam Jackson to his Tarantino. He's like, if I'm doing a movie, I'm calling up Juan.
Perfect.
And so the other guy, also Juan Gallardo.
Oh, no.
Or
The cast,
Gallardo.
the two cops, they're both named Juan?
They're both, well, the characters aren't.
Okay.
The characters are
okay.
Javier and Alex.
Did
I think
they
are
have
names.
they have names?
names in part of a plot description I read once.
Okay.
But I don't have a point in my notes where anyone says their names.
I don't remember.
Oh, I
They're
just called
just
them
the
cops.
Cop 1 and Cop 2.
They're never off
well,
screen.
they're both Juan.
Okay. They're never,
They're the Wands.
yeah, a million and
They're
one.
the wands for me.
They
still
are
the Wands.
Oh, man. This
Do
is
not
gonna
finish
get-
this sentence.
We got 50 minutes of this, everybody.
Go ahead, Mike.
One
Oh, I had nothing to
moment
say.
in time.
Juan is the loneliest member of this cast. Anyway, Juan Gallardo, a former
Nailed it.
Mr. Mexico.
Oh, well, I do have
Now,
to say.
it
Now, is that
what,
a wrestler, Mr. Mexico?
There was a
come on
wrestler
now.
named Mr. Mexico.
Stop
That
it.
guy came along later.
What a snack he is. Come on now. Are you kidding me when
Now,
he's in
it
that
doesn't-
which
cowboy
one is
hat?
he?
It doesn't specify if he won
The
the Mr.
handsome
Mexico
one, Tanner.
I
pageant.
thought they were both handsome gentlemen.
Each one handsome as the other.
Yeah.
In that they have the exact same hairstyle and the exact same mustache.
Listen, it's like Lethal Weapon, except both guys are Mel Gibson.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically. So, and it didn't specify in the notes I read whether him. They said he was Mr. Mexico. Was all it said. Period. And I don't know if that means he won the Mr. Mexico pageant, which is a long-standing male beauty pageant that happens there, or he's just a really patriotic motherfucker.
Yeah, he might be like the founder of Mexico, Mr. Mexico.
That's what they
As
named
part
it
of the
after.
lineage, yeah.
He has 134 credits.
Woo!
That's why he's Mr.
Oh,
Mexico.
he's called the Welker of Mexico.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
he's in
Juan
every
Welker.
Yeah, Juan Welker. He's in
And,
every movie.
including. So I wrote down some of his credits. He did 4 Santo films.
Wow.
Basically
you love
playing,
Santo.
I love Santo films. I don't have the titles of the 4 that he did, but he did 4 of them. Played a cop in all of them. It's that mustache, man. He's got a sweet cop stash. But other than that, some of his credits include 1989's Secuestro y Muerte, followed by 1990's Entre la Fe y la Muerte, 93's Riesgo de Muerte.
I think Bobby just wants to impress us with his Spanish pronunciation.
A couple other credits. 1996, he did 2 movies. First one, Rumores de Muerte. Second one, La Sombra de Muerte. These films are unrelated.
I actually think that maybe it's a requirement that you have to put De Muerte or
I just
in your
picture
movie.
he was getting in his 134 films. They'd pitch him a movie, and he'd be like, "Nah, I've already done one like that." And they'd add "of death," and he'd go, "Oh,
Wait,
I'm in."
Hold on a second. He's the Charles Bronson of Mexico.
It's got to be
Yeah. This is just Death Wish in Mexico then.
Juan
okay.
Gallardo, Charles Bronson of Mexico. Moving on to the bad guys, we have the leader of the Intrépidos punks, Tarzan.
Oh man.
He is played by.
Never see his face.
There's a reason, because
Oh,
he is
jeez.
played by Luchador El Fantasmo,
Ah.
who was very popular around the time of Santo and
yeah.
Blue Demon.
So that's why there's a certain move later in the movie.
There's about 3 or 4 certain moves. He primarily when the shit goes down, Tarzan uses wrestling moves to fight people.
And we'll
it's
let
like
Bobby-
Zangief fighting the other Street Fighter guys.
We're gonna let Bobby explain all the moves in detail
Of
because
course,
he.
of course.
You should see the tent he just pitched when I mentioned the moves later in the movie.
Oh man,
he is very excited about
Intrépidos junk. Let me tell you. So, very popular for several decades. His son is actually eclipsing him in popularity right now. His son, El Hijo del Fantasma, performed for 4 seasons on Lucha Underground as the character King Cuerno, and is currently being eyed by the WWE now that he has unmasked and revealed himself to be a handsome fella. That tends to happen a lot of times. If a luchador gets unmasked in Mexico and they're pretty good looking, WWE comes a calling.
Would you say he's the new Mr. Mexico?
He may be. He may be. Currently, he serves in Mexico City as the commissioner of boxing and lucha libre.
Oh, okay.
He oversees all of that. But as nice
How's
as
that a
sounds,
job? You just be like, you just check it all out. Like, what's that mean?
well, I guess he works as a legit boxing commissioner and then a kayfabe wrestling commissioner.
Because I'm like, what does that
They're like,
mean?
I don't know. I don't know how that works. I should have looked that up, I guess. But we only have so much time in an episode.
Seems like an honor. It seems like the key to the city type of thing. It's like, yeah, he's the guy.
I bet you it's a legit job.
Okay.
No, he's like Jack Tunney in the WWF. Most recently, as I was doing some research on him, I found an article about him only a couple days earlier.
Oh.
A couple days ago, as of this recording, he got evicted from his personal gym that he ran because he hasn't been paying the rent. So I don't think things are going so great for El Phantasmo.
Maybe it is more of a ceremonial position.
Yeah,
not a paid
maybe.
position.
Do you know who I am? I'm the commissioner of all wrestling and fighting in Mexico.
I'm the leader of a very powerful organization. His girlfriend in this movie, Fiera.
Oh yes, which
Tanner, you have coined the term Hedwig.
As much as I know her character's name is Fiera, she is Hedwig.
Yeah, she's
and
Hedwig
that
in my
gang is
notes.
the Angry Inch.
Because of that, she looks.
She is an Amazonian with a massive blonde hairdo. She looks like, and several of the other female punks, they look like the Misfits from Gem and the Holograms.
Yep.
Now, it's not that we're saying that she looks like a man. She just looks like Hedwig.
She
from
looks
Hedwig
like the
and Angry
character
Inch.
of Hedwig in
Yeah.
Hedwig
Yeah.
and
She's
the Angry
very
Inch.
flamboyant.
She's got big blonde hair, and she's got like massive blue eyeshadow. She looks like Hedwig.
She looks awesome.
Yeah. So her name's Hedwig in my notes
yeah.
too, because Tanner set the tone, and I went with it.
So get this, guys. She was played by an actress named Princessa Leia.
Stop. That's not her name.
It's not her real name, but it was the name she went by.
So she
Princess
saw
Leia.
Star Wars and was like, "That's my new name,
Absolutely.
Princessa Leia."
Was it a stage name?
It was, because she's actually born Susan Linda Fair in Montreal, Quebec.
Huh.
And when she was 14, she moved to Mexico to live with her godfather, Vicente Fernandez.
Who had to be the guy with the eye patch in this movie?
Vicente
right?
Fernandez is not in this film. Vicente Fernandez is known as the king of ranchero music, and he was the bassist for Ernesto de la Cruz in the movie Coco. He's a big fucking deal.
Wow.
All right.
And
I was hoping you say she was going to be born her name Carrie Fisher.
she was, however, upon growing up in Mexico, one of the most popular vedettes in the 1970s. Vedettes are showgirls, burlesque dancers. And she was famous for doing her, for bathing nude in a giant champagne glass.
Oh.
So Princessa Leia is her
Princessa
burlesque
Leia.
performer name, and she was very popular in the 70s. So this is sort of and featuring, it'd be like having, Carmen Electra show up in your movie.
And that was
Dita
before
Von Teese.
Yeah.
Slave Leia, because that was the 80s.
Surely.
So, unfortunately, she wasn't getting in that outfit yet. She made it to movies before that had to happen.
And I don't have a lot of movie credits for her after Intrépidos Punks.
Well, she went back to the martini glass, apparently.
She jumped back in the glass. She
Yeah.
hit the drink. She went right back.
Hit the drink.
I have one more actress in this, Ana Luisa Pelufo, who I believe plays the warden's wife.
Okay.
Because she has the most dialogue of those characters and she's of the appropriate age. 215 credits.
Woo! Now, she's the Welker of Mexico.
She's a big deal, too. She actually was a nude scene pioneer in Mexican cinema. In the 50s, she was one of the first actresses to bear all
To
in a
accept
mainstream
the
movie.
50.
To accept both halves of the 50, and that made her very popular. As her career progressed over a long time with 215 credits, she actually won 2 Dioses de Plata, which translates to Golden Goddess. That is the Mexican Oscars.
Oh, okay.
So in 1975, she won Best Actress for La Avenida de Rey Olmos. Nailed it.
No muerte in that title.
De Muerte. And in 1996, received the Lifetime Achievement Oscar.
Oh, okay.
So she's revered as a very popular actress. In this movie, she's having a rough time.
Yeah.
Last thing I want to cover before we get into this is resident house band of the Intrépidos Punks, Three Souls in My Mind, as you see on the bass drum.
Drum kit, yep.
They started playing music in 1968.
Ooh.
And at the time, rock music in Mexico was mostly English covers. That was what people were doing. Until the Festival de Avendaro in 1971, which is considered Mexico's Woodstock. Huge 3-day festival that happened, massive turnout, where something kind of phenomenal happened. Three Souls in My Mind playing Sunday morning. Halfway through their set, they were like, no, fuck this. We're going to sing in our native tongue, and we're going to sing about things that matter to Mexicans. And so this goes over huge, because bands weren't doing that at the time. And like, we're singing working man's music, we're singing in Spanish, and they blow up with the counterculture and with the disaffected youth of Mexico. So basically, if you were, and they start playing, not these big festivals anymore, but they start playing basically punk clubs, what they call hoyos funkis, which is where frankly put, this is where the poor people were going to like chaotic rock shows. It was like, dingy punk clubs and whatnot. Yeah. And they become super over with, basically, if you were like a hip young teenager in Mexico in the 70s and 80s, you were listening to TSIMM. That was like a big deal.
This is a big deal there in the movie then, huh?
So having them show up in the movie was like having the fucking Misfits there, as far as Mexican rock bands.
Yeah.
And In 1985, shortly after this movie, a couple years later, there was a falling out between the band members.
Just like the Misfits.
You'll be amazed at the parallels this has. Where the one band member left the band, but legally he owned the rights to Three Souls in My Mind. And so the remaining band switched their name to L Tree, the Three.
Okay.
And continued on. In the hearts and the minds of the fans, it's still Three Souls in My Mind, moving on under a new name, because that other guy went and released an album or two under that title, but they don't count that. It's kind of like Goblin, too.
And he had that hit, Madre.
Exactly.
Madre.
But get this. This band, playing the Intrépidos Punks, if you look at their whole career, they're the first Mexican rock band to get a gold record.
Wow.
They released over 30 albums total under the two names.
Holy
They
shit.
have sold tens of millions of records, and they're considered the godfathers of Mexican rock.
Awesome.
So they're a big fucking deal.
Yeah.
And I listen to their music now, and it's just like cool blues rock. Like every other song sounds like Roadhouse Blues by the Doors. It's basically what your dad's listening to when he's shooting pool with the boys. But I thought that was kind of fascinating that this band that's playing this song that is kind of king fratting throughout the movie.
Oh, yeah. Boy,
Every
does it ever.
2.5 minutes, that song kicks up again. And this band is basically like the Mexican Misfits of the time.
Yeah. They're like, you got an orgy? Play the song again.
And so I get that
You got a murder,
if you're
play the
doing
song.
a movie about these badass punks who are just pillaging the town, you want to get the band that all like the young punks in Mexico were listening to at the time and have them actually show up in the movie.
So is this movie a hit?
Yeah, so that's my question.
I
Is
don't know.
What level is this movie at? Is it like low budget Grindhouse, or was this just like a regular popular movie in
So
Mexico?
it's weird looking at all the stuff I just found here. You had a popular luchador. You had basically Elvira. You had like a popular burlesque performer. You had an Oscar-winning actress. And then you have like the most popular band for the target audience in the movie and doing the theme song constantly.
So this is like Mexican E.T. It's like a big deal.
So
Beloved by children everywhere.
Why did you go to E.T.?
of all things,
This is a big deal, guys.
This is what you watch when you're a kid, and your parents like, here's movies. They're good. Yeah, there's some rough parts in it, you know?
It's a little problematic
Yeah.
now.
It's like
but
when
we
E.T.
were
gets
really
drunk.
into it.
You know? It's a little rough when you're
Yeah.
a kid. And they're like,
we're watching The Quiet Man,
Yeah.
and that's problematic too for a lot of reasons. But yeah, the last thing about Three Souls in My Mind, to illustrate how popular they were, when their set ended at like 9 a.m. on Sunday, there was a mass exodus from the festival.
Wow. So everybody's like, yeah, we're done.
People stuck around for the band they came to see, and they were like, and we're good, so we're leaving. All the punks and hippies were like, we're out. We saw Three Souls.
And frickin' Grateful Dead tries to take the stage, and nobody's there, you know?
This is shit, man.
Talk about a dead crowd, am I right?
So I had to do a lot of translating to get this info. There's next to nothing.
So this could be all wrong. This is all through Google Translate. So we're hoping Bobby has provided the accurate information and not the exact opposite. It would be really funny if it was like, they are one of the most hated bands in Mexico.
There was a mass exodus when they came on stage. They're the worst.
But we assume it's all correct. So thank you, Bobby. That was a lot of
I
good
thought it was a lot of
information.
really fascinating stuff. Shall we get into the film?
Yes, our feet are all touching, really. We're really close in this raft together. And I just want to say, guys, it's been a fun trip, hasn't it? You know, we got the El
I think
Torito.
We're going to remember this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll be like, remember that time we went to Mexico against our will?
I've put my hand around Tanner's shoulders, and he seems okay with it.
It's
Listen.
calming.
I'm here to participate in this mission.
Guys,
whatever this mission is, let's do this.
And
Bobby
I
and
was
I-
going to say, I do get motion sickness, so can you guys not get too physical on this boat?
All right.
That's gonna be tough.
Vaya con Dios.
Oh man,
Vaya
that
con
was-
Dios.
he said that really.
Wow.
He looked into my eyes as he said that.
Man.
I'm a little
Look
afraid.
deeper.
Guys, let's get into the movie,
Okay, so the theme song starts
which I'm sure you've
for
heard
the
already
one
on
and
this.
only time.
The single time. I mean,
It's weird. You
they're
would think
clearly
it's so
paying
good
by
that
the
they would just
rotation.
play it over and over again.
Yeah,
And the interesting thing we do with the credits. The credits are all spray painted on the wall.
yeah, Demon Cop.
That was
Demon
punk.
Cop style.
This is now called. I know they're not the first to do it, and they're certainly not the last. But this is called Demon Cop to me. And when somebody is so fucking cheap, they can't make credits, so they just instead paint it on a wall. Because instead, you know what? Hey, if you're gonna do opening credits and you can't afford to pay for the old motion and all that fun stuff, just fucking paint it on a
It
wall. And we'll
works.
shake
I
the
think it
camera
looks
around.
cool,
you know?
honestly.
It works for this movie.
Yeah.
Speaking of
It
looking
doesn't work for
cool.
Demon Cop,
No,
but it works
no.
for this.
Nothing did in Demon Cop. That's why it's beautiful. The punk that's spray painting some of these credits, I don't know if you guys noticed, has like bedazzled swastikas on his back pockets.
Oh boy.
Which we
Oh,
saw in
boy.
Raw Force as well. There was a whole thing in the 80s of punks using Nazi emblems, not because they were Nazis themselves, but just sort of as a...
Oh, yeah,
it
like
was
Fear.
to get a rise out of the
Just because it would piss people off,
Yeah, like
man.
Fear.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I went to a Fear show once. There was a lot of Nazis at that show.
Didn't really get the...
No, they don't. They don't
No.
get it.
They
but-
assumed...
Yeah. By this point, I think they've taken it over. So, I just like to say that I stayed in the back of the room for that one, and it was
Probably a good idea.
Once the set was over, made my exit very quickly out of the observatory because that was yikes.
You'd observed enough.
Yeah, I had.
So, the credits keep going. We're spray painting every possible credit we can. The song has gone through twice. And we finally get our movie started. And we start with, we got some nuns penguin shuffling into a bank.
Yeah, which there's nothing suspicious about these nuns penguin shuffling, and they have their hands under their outfits.
And they're wearing heels.
They're obviously hiding stuff below them. Nothing, I would have just thought it was Sister Act.
Yep. And everything's normal. It's especially also normal when the Dreadnoks from G.I. Joe roll up on their bikes out in the parking lot to watch these nuns.
Okay, you say that. I say they all have vehicles out of like the Wacky Racers.
They do.
Yep.
Everyone's riding like a giant big wheel.
How
One
much
of these, by the way, if you notice in some of the scenes, you have to be kind of eagle-eyed. They're so punk that one guy has the logo for the progressive rock band Yes on the back of his bike. I'm just picturing, the punks roll up looking all badass. He's got his headphones on, just like, for the queen to use.
Because they got all sorts of shit. Like somebody has a love seat as a motorcycle. Like they've attached
It's
like
like
a couch to the back of a motorcycle. One of them at one point is just a mattress. I don't know if you noticed that, but
Mattress
at
on
one
wheels.
point Tarzan and Hedwig are riding around on a mattress.
It's great.
And there's also one that looks like Muttley's inside of it.
Oh, Dick Dastardly would fit right in with the Intrépidos punks.
Like, as it goes on, they get more complex, because at first you're like, oh, yeah, it's kind of like Raiders of Atlantis, and then it's like, oh, no, this is straight up Wacky Racers at some point, Where's the end of the race, is what I was wondering.
Look like carnival ride motorcycles.
Yeah.
Like, they just pulled it off a tilt-a-whirl.
And
Just
bear in
put it
mind,
in
this
there.
is a year after Mad Max.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I would have
this is-
never
this is
guessed.
19 but a year before Road Warrior.
Oh, God.
See, we can get into it, but I definitely got the Mad Max riffs.
Yeah.
Especially because the cops do not factor into the story. I thought we were more in the punks were taking place in a Mad Max style where it's not the apocalypse, but it's the downfall, the breakdown of civilization.
Things have broken down.
Yeah, things have broken down.
Yeah, that idea kind of goes by the wayside when they're just waltzing into a regular-ass bank.
Yeah.
Or later when they're going to a convenience store.
Yeah.
And everything is operating normally. It's like in the background of 1990, The Bronx Warriors, where you can see everyone going to work on the bridge. Like everyone's just commuting in the background, even though everyone's supposed to be dead.
But no, the nuns go into, they shuffle into this bank, and then they immediately hold it up. And I do like this, is that there's a guard with a machine gun at the front of the bank, and one of the nuns goes, freeze, and then immediately shoots him. I'm like, they didn't even give him time to react.
Hey, it's a smart move. The one guy who could stop you.
Yep.
Yeah, it's true. But you shouldn't expect everybody else to be calm if you go, all right, freeze, it's a robbery.
What was everyone freaking out about?
And then just mass hysteria, because at this point, by the way, she shoots the guy, and then other cops are kind of like, oh, okay,
they showed
something's
cops
going
on,
on.
at a lunch truck.
Yeah.
Turn around was that a gun?
And they're like, nah. If we hear another shot, maybe. Because one shot,
That's a car backfire.
Yeah, we'll give them benefit out.
But yeah, they put all the money in the bags, and they're making the quick getaway. As they're running out, they're firing into the air like bank robbers do.
That's when the cops at the lunch truck
Like
go.
1940s gangsters.
That's when the cops at the lunch truck go, okay, it's a robbery.
That's a robbery.
Which
We
is
better do
also
this.
really fucking dumb, because they got away with it until that point. Like, they only shot one gun.
They are punks.
You're
They
right,
do
Dan.
not give a fuck.
At one point
Fuck
in
your
my
rules,
notes, I just
pal.
started writing, I think they just want to watch the world burn,
Yeah,
dude.
Yeah.
Like a punk does.
Yeah. It's like the fucking, what's that book? The Destroyers? Grant Green or whatever that guy's name is. It's
I don't know what you're talking
just
about.
want to
man.
watch the fucking
It's
world
too smart
burn,
for
dude.
us, man. We
Talking
watch
about
movies.
Bret Easton Ellis.
No. I loved all his books, and then I'd read
Bad to the
interviews
Bone?
with him, and I'm like, I know.
Heartbreaking
why I
Work
know
of
this
Staggering
man,
Genius.
you know?
Is that what you're talking about?
Huh?
Heartbreaking Work of Staggering Genius.
No.
No.
Are you talking about Destroyer, the monster that Godzilla fought and almost died?
Mm,
I don't know what.
yeah.
Now you guys are.
You talking about the
confusing
Canadian
me.
Destroyer or the wrestling one?
I'm gonna jump
good
off this
move.
fucking raft.
Sorry.
You can't swim to shore,
Give me that-
Mike.
There's
Give
no
me that
shade
jug
on
of
this
water.
raft, and I am just fucking.
Well, put your hat back on.
I don't want. It's fuck. I don't want to be racist,
Look,
man.
are you gonna eat
I have
your-
no place wearing this raft. This raft.
We are this is a raft. Well, that's
I'm
all of these
sitting in a
hats
hat.
are rafts.
I'm wearing a raft.
Are you gonna eat your number 3 or what?
No.
Okay, can I have it?
You can have it.
All right.
I think it's not a good idea, but you can have it.
Look, I'm in Mexico. I'm gonna eat a tamale.
Why are you wearing the hat now? Now I'm the only one not wearing the hat. Now I look like the
Wear
asshole.
the hat.
I need to protect myself from the sun.
God damn! I'm
Have
gonna
you
have to
ever
wear
had
this
skin
fucking
cancer?
hat.
Oh, I'm in Mexico. I need to protect myself from the soul. Is that how you pronounce it?
El Sol, Mike.
I hate you
El
both so much right now. I am gonna jump off this raft.
Es muy stupido.
Oh, I love it. Tanner's learning the
Man,
language.
he is fitting.
I took 2 years
This
of
is
Spanish.
the episode where Tanner learned to love Mexico.
Yeah. So Tanner, after the nuns and the wacky racers get away from the police,
We get
right?
a car chase.
Yeah.
Well, it's not
the
really
best
so
kind
much
of car
of a car
chase, and then it's in a
chase.
straight line.
This is just like the car chase from Breathless. Like, have you ever seen that movie where he just like shoots the police officer? That's just how the movie starts. He's like, bang, and then they just die. That's it. It's like not even really a chase. They're
What's
just
kind of great is they, through almost no act of their own, cause these cops to flip their car.
yeah.
And once the car flips, it blows up.
Yep.
You say there's car chases. It's really just there's a lot of times where we have to watch them drive from town to their punk cave.
Yeah,
and
they're
we just-
Intrépidos.
And sometimes people will happen to follow them, but it's never really a chase because most of the time they're just still driving the same speed. And
And they shoot at each other, but in ways to make sure you don't see that there's no muzzle flash or no discharge from
I
the
feel
guns.
like that's just the punk way, dude.
There's
you
a
just
really
kind of
great
fire at
instance of that
anybody,
later.
right? Because
Yeah.
at some points they just like to see the world burn, dude.
So having shaken these cops, having
Yeah.
gotten the federales off their tail,
Yeah.
they meet up with the other punks. They go to the
Punk
hideout.
cave. They got the punk cave. Okay. So in the local park, they found a big cave and they've taken it for themselves. And they put a tiki torch in there.
And they grab some. The nuns grab some beers. They're pulling off their frocks.
Now
Their
you say
habits,
pulling off.
not
They
their
just
frocks.
they just fucking get undressed at one point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They just get fully naked.
And they're bragging about their exploits while recounting the money. And it turns out they stole 3 million pesos.
Which I don't know how much money that is in American, in USD, but I assume it's a lot.
It's $40,000.
Okay.
But the thing is, like,
Fucking
you also gotta consider-
1988, buddy.
Like,
Oh my God.
It's all-
1980.
80.
Yeah,
Oh my God.
yeah.
That's like 10 houses.
It is. And Hedwig, as we're calling her,
Yeah.
says, well, with this money, we can begin our plan. And they all clink their beers together. Big cheers for all that.
Okay. The plan is one of the most confusing plans in Grindbin history. Because they stole 3 million pesos and they're talking about how we're going to get our revenge and we're going to have the revolution.
And you know how it goes every time there's a revolution in a Grindbin movie.
Well, look.
It's mostly just a party.
Look, let me tell you something. If you're going to start a revolution, there's 2 things I know you need. You need a shitload of coke and a shitload of weed.
And also, for it to go well, you need a shitload of Christopher Walken.
That's true. That's true.
You
If
know
you
who's
want it to
not
be
in this movie?
successful.
No Christopher Walken.
Do you
That's
know
true.
he's not in this movie? He might be a background Intrépidos punk.
Oh, he might be.
Yeah. Might take off that Tarzan mask.
Oh.
I've got a
The body
purple
types threw me off.
Mohawk. Riding a bike.
Okay, so this is...
Yes. It's my favorite band.
But by the way, guys... so this is what I say in my notes. First 5 minutes of this movie, this is all you can ask for in a bin movie, right? We get fucking
great.
nuns robbing a bank. We get a car chase.
Tanner,
we get
you were
dead
saying that too.
cops.
You're like watching the beginning of
is
this
so
movie. You're
good.
like, fuck yeah,
it's
this
the
movie.
Dreadnoks.
Here
It's
we-
the Misfits. It's Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
This
Yeah.
song
going
is dope.
great.
I hope I hear it again.
Let's go and introduce the other part of the movie, Juan and Juan.
The Juan
cop
Squad.
duo, the Juan Squad.
Juan and Juan make 2.
Juan and Juan make
Great
2.
cops.
So they're in the police station, and then this... they're talking about the punk gang because the
I have some of
detective...
that written down that the state police have asked for assistance with the contraband case.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. They're not talking about the punk band. I thought they're like, oh, because he's talking about a contraband case. I'm like, oh, he must be referring to the punks. Like, they're contraband. They're shipping stuff
Not
all
yet.
over and
I mean,
everything,
the punks
right?
end up involved, but they don't know this yet.
Slightly.
Yeah.
Let's not get carried away.
But
Slightly.
we do know that a gang is moving contraband across the border in trunks and trailers to avoid checkpoints
Yeah.
and tolls. They're also sneaking some stuff across in Evel Knievel's coffin.
Very true.
I'm pretty sure that's related.
Now, when we get into contraband, as we get into it, is there just like a black market Sears or something? that they're transporting this stuff to? Because like at one point they look in the back of a truck. They're like, "There's all these TVs and refrigerators."
Yeah.
You ever been to Crazy Gideon's?
Oh,
You know what was crazy is what he had to go through to get it.
you gotta smuggle fridges into Mexico?
Yeah. Best
if you
Buy
want it cheap.
actually is just
Tariffs, man.
it's black market shit. Tariffs.
Yeah, that's what you see in the wilderness of Mexico and America. A bunch of semi trucks bounding around with
This is
refrigerators in the back.
NAFTA. Who knows? It's the Wild West.
That's why we had to pass NAFTA to stop those black market fridges from getting into Mexico.
Yep, those cheap
right?
fridges undercutting American-made fridges, right? Am I right?
Yeah, Tanner is fired up.
Man. Well, you got my vote, Tanner.
Yeah.
And they're explaining, they've probably been taking these trucks through the desert to avoid detection and walking single file to hide their numbers.
Yeah, but wait, Bobby, after he says that, he tells the cops you could be part of this case, right?
Yeah.
But then what do the cops say? Shit, man, I heard a guy just got murdered at a toll booth. We should go check that shit out.
Oh, right, yeah, I do have that
But
here.
the guy just said they avoided them.
He's
So
like,
what
do you
the
think they're
fuck?
the ones who shot up that checkpoint last week? And the guy goes, probably.
The chief, yeah, the
We just
chief
said they're
says
not
probably.
doing that.
He said they're not. That pissed me off
Chief's
so
like,
much.
man, I don't know.
He said
Only
they've avoided them all.
contraband smugglers are that precise.
He
It's
said
true.
they have avoided toll booths and checkpoints. They've avoided them. The Juan Squad says maybe that has something to do with that checkpoint that got shut up. And the chief just goes, yeah, I think so.
I mean, it could
Maybe
be.
they've been avoiding the checkpoints since they shot that one up.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not what he says.
No, but you know what, Tanner? You better, hey, put on a mustache. You're on
Yeah.
this case.
Hey,
Listen,
let me ask you a question, Tanner. Are we ever going to go see the toll booth or checkpoint?
no, we don't need to.
It got shot up.
You
We
know
don't
what
need to
we
go.
need? We need a lot more punk party scenes.
Yeah.
We will. But first, the Juan Squad comes outside, and Juan 1 turns to Juan 2 and says, pay up, man. I told you it was going to be contraband. They knew what they were getting assigned.
So these guys, by the way, I would like to say that the Juan Squad is the greatest police force in all of Mexico. They are like Mexico's FBI.
Fuck yeah.
They are called in for every case that everybody else is either too lazy to solve, because there's points where the cops just goes like, yeah, man, there's some shit going down and we don't really know what to do about it.
No, like, it's over our heads, man. It's above our pay grade.
Yeah.
We need Juans on this.
Or they need the top guys, and so they call in Juan and Juan. And
I would watch that cop show. Juan and
but
Juan.
this is what it is. No, you're saying you'd watch that cop show. We do.
That's this.
Because this movie
I would watch this movie.
that the Juans are in has almost nothing to do with the punks.
They do not intersect until the last 20 minutes.
No,
Yeah.
no,
That's
no.
when shit hits the fan. It comes together.
Because right now I'm like, oh, okay, so somehow the punks are going to be involved with this. No.
And at the end of this, after they make their, you pay up because I told you it was going to be contraband. Juan 2 says to Juan 1, $10,000 says we fuck these smugglers up.
Oh, okay,
That's
well,
some fucking bravado.
wait, hold on. How's that a bet? You
Well,
just do that yourself.
If I get my ass,
Wait a second.
Look, man, if they kill me, I owe you 10 grand.
Wait a second.
and if I fuck them up, you owe me 10
Yeah.
grand.
If Juan
No,
took that bet, he's an idiot.
No, it's we fuck these smugglers up. So if they kill us,
yeah.
I owe you 10 grand.
Yeah, but if we beat them up,
If we win at the end of this movie, you owe me 10 big ones.
well, if I'm Juan too, I'm sitting that one out.
Well,
I'm
he
gonna
does
be
say like, no, he actually says like, I'm not a dumbass. I'm not taking that
I'm not
bet.
taking that bet. We are going to fuck them up.
Yeah,
And he's like-
we're the heroes of this story.
yeah. And so then we
We're the
cut
Juans,
to,
baby.
oh my God, do I love this man? This
Oh,
is
number 2?
From
Austin Powers,
yeah.
Robert Wagner.
Yeah, so we have Eye Patch, who I believe one of the characters does call him One Eye at one point.
Yeah,
so
they do.
that's his name in my
And
notes.
he goes, "Call me Snake."
So One Eye is basically like Mexican Mr. Crown, in that he,
He
has
really
an
is.
office with women all around.
When we meet him, he's got a girl sitting on his desk, just kind of like kissing him gently.
Yes.
They're making out like kids.
That's her day job.
Meanwhile,
You know
his
that she
goons
was
are off to
hired.
the side playing Yahtzee.
Yeah, they are playing Yahtzee because one of them does yell Yahtzee. And he's like, okay, so we're just sitting here doing our bad things. And then all of a sudden, the punks come in.
Specifically, the ones that were the nuns. So the lady
Yes.
punks all come in together.
How did
the
Hedwig-
misfits?
And they are in some bomb-ass
They look
outfits.
fucking rad.
But how did Hedwig hide that hair under that nunnery outfit? Like, that's...
Well, I'm willing to bet that hair is a wig.
yeah.
So she
Maybe.
just took it off. So
It was under the habit.
Like Hedwig's outfit is literally a studded bikini.
It's like something China wore in the
Yeah,
WWE.
with like a studded strap that goes down one leg.
She looks amazing.
Well, okay, because when they
She
walk
looks like
into
Luna
the office,
Vachon.
when they walk into the office, Mexican crowd says to them, what are you, hookers?
Well, no,
Which at first I was like, that's rude. But then when it did the reverse, I'm like, well.
he kind of says that because he knows Hedwig already.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, my sweet Hedwig. And and he goes, are you here for sexual pleasures or is this business? And he keeps trying to guess. He's like, I assume you're here to sell me some stolen shit. Or maybe you're here to give me these 3 dolls here. And he's looking at the 3 other girls.
Yeah.
And Hedwig looks up and goes, shut the fuck up.
Yeah. Well, that's why I said I was like, yeah, he is rude. But when they show the reverse, I'm like, well, I mean, they are dressed like they could be in the streets with Angel.
Surely.
Yeah.
And he goes, hey, don't get bent out of shape. I'm just playing. Do you want some coke, some pot, some heroin, maybe some weapons? They're like, weapons. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
We want weapons. He goes, are you starting a revolution?
I believe at this time, because it is for all of our lives, that guns are illegal in Mexico. Like even handguns. You cannot get a handgun.
Yeah.
You can get a knife, but handguns are super illegal in Mexico.
But we already established that they have guns. They use them. They have guns.
Tanner, that was a completely different thing. They need
already
more
use-
guns. Yeah.
They use those guns. The guns are one-time use.
Look, they got their 3 million pesos. What they need is a shitload of coke, some weed, and some handguns.
Because we're having a fucking
So
barbecue tonight.
Go to Mr. Crown. Go to One-Eyed Crown. And they go to him, and he's like, okay, well, give me, it's going to cost 2 million pesos. And they're like, well, fine, we got the money.
Yeah. Well,
Comes out
because
with the
he
guns.
asks, so are you starting a revolution? Are you attacking drifters? Or maybe you want to play with your nephews? What's going on? And
Yeah, wait, hold on. Play with your nephews was the part I was like, what?
Yeah, and that's when she pulls out one of the guns and holds it up to his forehead. And he goes, all right, put it down, Wildcat. Don't be a joker. He doesn't react at all to the gun being pointed at his head.
Because
He's
it's
like,
not
"That's
loaded.
cute." He's not going to be stupid enough to enter a loaded gun. And so, he mentions that it'll be $2 million, and they give him the $2 million. They get their shit and they leave. And as they're leaving, he goes, don't forget, I also buy women.
Yeah. He tried one more time, which, I mean, he tried.
Yeah.
God bless him for trying.
Yeah. So then the cops... the
Juan Squad.
Yeah, the Juan Squad finds the contraband trucks, right? So they find the truck drivers.
And they watch them with binoculars, and they go, all right, there they are. Let's give them a little surprise. And Juan pulls out a fucking machine gun.
Yeah, no, he's got like the Federale gun, and they are going after these guys. They eventually... Well, so in the chase, there's 2 cars involved with the chase, which is very confusing.
I was absolutely confused.
Yeah, because there's a, like, following car. I don't know what you'd call it, but some sort of tail car or something like that.
They have the big semi-truck, and they have the smaller car that falls behind to make sure there's no cops tailing them.
Yeah, the guys with the guns, basically.
Yeah, and the Juan Squad pulls up in their car, too. And, we have a weird moment where we actually get to talk to we have a moment with the guys driving the car behind the semi-truck, and they're kind of nervous. He's like, I usually prefer to do this at night, but, we'd get lost in the desert. And then when the cops show up, everyone freaks out.
Well, yeah, but while they're in the chase, right, because they get in a chase, Juan 1 turns to Juan 2, and he goes, I wonder if they got any fridges in there because I need one for my house.
And he
I'm
says,
like,
hey, we're supposed to be the honorable ones here. And he goes, you and your fucking honor. And that's when they start the car chase.
But I'm like, fridge?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
There might be some contraband.
Why
in
would you
fridge.
smuggle a
I
fridge?
told you, Best Buy's all black market shit. If you bought from there, you help support it.
Yeah.
Just
would
so
you
you know. It's all about
smuggle a-
Sears. That's why they're going under. They
I'm
can't
like,
hang with the black market.
Yeah.
Isn't there better things to smuggle?
No.
People smuggle turtles.
What do you
What
need
is
when
that?
you're in
That's
the desert? You
weird
need a
fucking
fridge.
world,
What's the
man.
fucking markup on a fridge?
Whatever you paid was too much.
God damn, it takes a lot of space.
So during this car chase, one of the wands shoots out a tire on that pace car. That car goes over a cliff and just explodes in midair.
It does. Midair.
Wait,
it's
it didn't hit anything.
Somebody goes, all right, press the... No, don't press it yet.
You're supposed to hit it when it hits the rocks.
I got so confused during this part. I thought the car that went off the cliff was the cops. Like I lost track of which car
And
they
then
were
the rest
in.
of the movie's just the punks.
And Tanner
with
Well, I
stood
was
up
like,
in his
wait,
own apartment. He yells, "Whoa!"
I was like, oh, that was a twist I didn't expect. And I was like, oh wait, no, they're alive.
No, it was the two
Well, who are
guys
those
who were
other
nervous
fucking
about
guys?
doing this.
It was
The 2 guys who were stuck
Yeah.
behind a semi-truck on the
For
old
some reason,
road.
I thought the cops were in because the car that goes off the cliff is like a little sporty car, and for some reason I thought
no,
the
the cops
were
are in like
that
a
car.
Buick Century.
Yeah.
It's kind of...
Yeah. Well, there's one part where the cop's car breaks down.
Oh yeah,
Their
yeah, where he
car
stalls
breaks
out.
down. mid-chase, and then they
Yeah,
restart
while they're going
it.
after the truck.
Yeah.
But they eventually get it restarted, even though like.
And also, you're like, why'd they keep that in the movie? Because it's just like you're just watching them restart
It's
a car.
drama.
It makes
It's like,
them
oh,
relatable.
Is
what are
it?
they- Yeah.
It's
They're
relatable.
gonna get away.
Oh, every time I'm in a car chase, man, fucking Buick breaks down,
Listen,
right?
There's a bunch of cops watching that movie.
Yeah, working class heroes, man.
Yeah.
Springsteen wrote a song about this.
Is it like a big joke against American cars? Like, fucking Buicks, am I right,
Probably.
guys?
Surely, right? Could have been a Volvo.
Yeah, so it
Pinto.
breaks down. They restart it. We have to watch that whole scene of them restarting a car and restarting a chase. And then they stop the truck by shooting one of the guys, like, just right through the chest. And the driver just is like, all right, fuck it, I'm done.
Look, I'm good, man.
Yeah.
I don't need this shit. And they pop up at the back of the truck, and sure enough, it's full of TVs, it's full of refrigerators.
Okay, they tell me it's full of a Sears. However, they don't show me the reverse because
course
this movie's so fucking cheap they couldn't even afford fake boxes.
we just watch the wands open
Like,
the back of a truck and tell us what they
They
see.
couldn't even get a Frigidaire box to put in the back of the truck. They're just like,
They should have done
nah.
this like a video game. There should have been a guy in the back of the truck throwing boxes of stuff at them that they have to swerve
Like a Donkey
around.
Kong
Yeah,
type
yeah.
of situation. Yeah, that was Donkey Kong 4 when you chase after Donkey Kong in a semi truck and he throws fridges at you. But yeah, because we have to hear him go like, "Oh yeah, look at that! They got everything: the fridges, the TVs, the coffee makers. They got everything."
Spaceballs, the flame.
You should fucking see it, audience.
Man, it's something. They should have. You know what they should have done? It should have glowed like the briefcase in Pulp Fiction when they open the back of it. So they call it in and they say, "Hey, mission accomplished, Commander. We did it." And so we cut away now, and Hedwig is visiting prison as Linda. She's wiped off all the makeup. She's put on a normal outfit. She is civilian Hedwig now.
Yeah,
Going by the actress's real name, Linda.
and she has a picnic basket, so she's like fucking Yogi Bear or some shit.
She shows up as Yogi Bear.
She's walking in with a picnic basket with
She
like a
says,
little cloth
"Hello,
over
Mr.
it.
Warden, sir."
Yeah, and she just walks right past the guard like, nothing. You know,
Of course,
she
the
goes
lieutenant,
in.
though, is like, "Hey, why don't I take you where you need to go?"
Well, because she gets checked by a female guard, and then the lieutenant comes in and he's like, I got this one. And then he comes over and, he wants a little something, I guess.
And in fact, when he goes to inspect her basket, before he can see what's inside, she takes a wad of cash and places it in her cleavage and lets him fish it out.
And apparently that's enough to bring whatever you want into a prison.
You know what?
Yeah.
All right, doll, he says. You can go to your conjugal visit.
I try this move all the time when
don't
I
have
go
enough
visit
cleavage,
prisons,
dude.
but
You're
they
in too good of
never-
shape.
I put $5 in my breasts all the time.
You know what
They
you gotta
never let
do?
me
You
through.
gotta put it down the back of your pants. You gotta let that poke
That's
up out of
it.
the belt.
Okay.
It's the only cleavage you got, dude.
That's true. That's true. I often say that. That's the only cleavage I got.
Look, it's what I got. Molly's just like, this isn't doing anything for me. You're like, showing a little
Bought
cleave.
those low-cut jeans for a reason.
I even glittered it. So she gets to her conjugal visit, and it's her beloved Tarzan,
Yeah.
who they strategically don't really show us all of his face.
Yeah.
We get a couple little brief yip teases of what his face looks like.
But Tarzan's pissed, by the way. He's
Yeah.
not happy.
She's happy to see him. He's like, hey, when the fuck am I getting out of here?
Yeah, and she's like, hey, okay, first of all, you're the one in prison. I am trying to break you out.
Yeah, because he's like, every day I'm busting my ass in here to survive. She goes, and every day I'm busting mine to get you out.
Yeah, and you know how fucking hard it is to bring all our tools for a breakout in a picnic basket. You know how many times I got to push up my boobs and put a dollar bill between it?
And you know what? He's like, you're right. And they start boning down.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, forget the movie, let's fuck. And so there's a lot of times where Hedwig just shows her boobs.
Yeah.
Just
Well, she, I mean,
constantly. And we should say that there's no actual sex scenes in this movie. It's just a lot of just a breast shot and then somebody laying on top of a lady.
and that goes for consensual and non-consensual sex
Yeah.
scenes throughout
Yeah.
this film. There are, as a friend of mine who saw the film said, he thinks this may have quantitatively the most rape of any Grindbin movie, but at the same time, it's also the tamest rape. Because every rape scene is just like these extras pin somebody to the ground. We might expose a breast, but then they just start like smooching them up.
Sometimes they
It's all
don't
just.
sometimes they don't even use lips. Sometimes they just pet people's faces.
They just kind of lay on top of people.
Yeah.
Like, is this enough? I don't really want to be doing this.
Yeah. And they're like, yeah, it's fine. Just let the band finish.
Yeah. And Francisco's like, well, it's fine. It gets the point across. Let's move to the next scene. And so we move to the next scene.
Yeah.
And we're getting some rich old ladies playing bridge.
Okay, because at this point I'm like, all right, a third movie started because I don't know what the fuck is going on.
I wrote down a lot of the dialogue here, though. 'cause
It's
it
really
gets
good dialogue. It's a
interesting.
very, very
Please,
funny
Bobby,
scene.
Enlighten us. What do they start talking
So
about?
the ladies are playing bridge. We're having a ladies' night.
Yeah.
And they go, hey, do you think our husbands are at a meeting at the jail? Because we quickly established this is the warden's wife, the vice warden's wife, the doctor's wives, all the men who run the jail. This is their wives.
Seems like this is a
bridge game.
punchline setup. Right?
Yeah.
It's like a Rodney Dangerfield
And a
joke
rabbi
right here.
walks in. Yeah, and he goes, maybe those bastards are out there having an orgy. And one of the girls goes, but how? There's only men there. And she goes, don't be dumb, Carmina. There's nurses, cooks, there's all kinds of people. At first I thought she meant don't be dumb as in like, I meant each other, Carmina. But no, there's women there. And then one of the girls, Carmina goes, hey, it must be so nice to be in an orgy. And the warden's wife goes, oh, it is. I was in one once. This is like Betty White on Golden Girls just offering a story. And everyone goes, oh, how was it? She goes, well, I almost had to tap out. It was everyone against everyone. I was nearly torn apart. And all the other women are like,
somebody give her the
how
ankle
nice.
lock or some shit, just having to tap out.
I ended up in a kata hajime. I almost lost consciousness.
Look, if you're in an orgy with Tarzan, you know there's going to be a submission move or two.
I don't know if maybe Tarzan was there. But we cut to the warden, and my God, he's laying down with a lady. They were right.
Oh, yeah, no, it's an orgy. There's multiple men
definitely
having...
an orgy. And what's great is like the warden's doing his thing, but they pan over it. There's like a dude asleep on the couch.
Yes, it is a weird old man sex party.
Yeah,
it's a real lemon party going on.
So apparently the
Can't
warden's
have a
office...
lemon party without old dick.
Yeah, at the warden's office at night, they just turn down the lights, and you know what? You just kind of...
Anything goes,
do
man.
whatever you want. Yeah, you can sleep, you can fuck, you can...
whatever you feel like doing, just do what feels right.
You can eat. You know, whatever you want.
And it's all you could eat.
Yeah.
And then we cut back to the ladies, and one of the girlies is like, well, I can never be with a man who's not my husband. And the warden's wife goes, yeah, you could. And I got to tell you, anything the men can do, we should be able to do. Am I right, ladies?
And then they break it to anything you can do, I can do better.
And that's when we saw the guy asleep on the couch, because we keep cutting between them talking about orgies and the actual one going on. And then the ladies decide to have some tea. You know, they're pouring it out to each other. They're getting, the game has ended. And she goes, so anyway, I was paired up with this 20-year-old wearing only his underwear, and let me tell you, doorbell rings.
Yeah, right in the middle of it. And you know what? What time of night is it?
It's got to be like 11 o'clock at night.
Yeah, but you know what? That's the perfect time to fucking sell some perfume.
Yeah.
Am I right, guys?
Mistress of Disguise, Hedwig, is now a seductress representative. Seductress being a makeup company.
That they advertise on television.
Yeah.
Yeah.
As we explained.
Because she says it, she goes, yes, I sell seductress makeup. She's like, oh, like the TV. And she goes, yeah.
That was their way of getting product placement without having a product to place on screen.
She's
They're
like,
just like the one that they sell in stores.
And she goes, like, you've heard of the Home Shopping Network? Well, now we're just bringing it to your home. Right now at 11 p.m. Who wants some makeup, ladies? And they're like...
and they bring her in, and the ladies are amazed. They're like, oh, she's come in the middle of the night to give us a makeup demonstration we definitely didn't order.
Well, they're all excited. They're all on board.
But man,
like,
hey, click those drumsticks, Tanner. 1, 2, 3, 4. The song kicks in.
Oh,
and
yeah.
who walks in behind her but the Intrépidos punks?
So while the Intrépidos punks are filing into the room, apparently the roadies are setting up for what's going to happen next.
Yep.
So I assume
doing our
that's going
sound
on
check in the
back.
living
Yeah,
room.
I do think there is a sound check going on that we don't see, because the next thing we see is that we go to the prison orgy and the phone rings.
But the lady who is currently grinding on the warden just casually takes the phone off the hook.
Yeah, and so Hedwig is sitting there with the punks, and she has the ladies tied up, and she's pissed off. She goes, well, they aren't answering the fucking phone. They're not taking this seriously.
Like, God damn it. The whole plan is fucked because they're not answering the door. And then meanwhile, one of the punks starts grabbing at a breast on one of these ladies. She's like, hey, we're not here for that. And he goes, oh, come on, these chicks are hot.
Because she's all upset about it. She's like, no, we're not doing that. And he goes, well, okay, hold on. When
Hear me
you
out.
were in prison, the guards raped you, right? And she goes, well, that is true. And he goes, well, I think it's fair that we return the favor to these women because
you
of
know
what
what?
their husbands do.
She's like, you got a point there.
She goes,
you know what?
Yeah,
Take 'em.
You know what? I can't argue with you. So do what you need to.
And so, ladies and
1, 2,
gentlemen,
3, 4.
Ladies and gentlemen, 3 souls in my mind. And there they are, the actual band with their logo on the drum kit and everything,
Yeah. While a rape scene is going on,
playing the song we've already heard 4 times.
the band is in the home of the bridge game.
Now it's diegetic music.
Yeah.
Like, because the band's set up in the living room while
Yeah.
this was going on.
There is literally a man hitting the bass drum as a man is trying to rape a woman right in front of him, and
so-
you just
yeah.
see the
getting
reverberations right there.
These weird pantomime smooch rapes are happening.
This is when one guy's just petting a lady's face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
While the band is just on fire, man. The band's cooking. We're
Yeah.
in the pocket.
Intrépidos punks!
Yeah, it's
Yeah. So as I was saying before, I was way into this fun, silly movie, and then the rape started, and I'm like, oh, more.
But that song, Tanner, they
Oh,
brought
that's-
the
that
band.
song
to make it
carries
more
you
fun.
through, right?
Oh.
honestly, I feel like that was a smart move. Like, we have a really uncomfortable scene where these women are getting raped by these punks, and Francisco Guerrero is like, what if we just put the band there? Everyone's gonna be distracted because fucking TSIMM is playing.
Yeah, perfect.
It's not gonna feel so bad.
So then Hedwig finally gets a hold of the prison dudes, okay?
Good Lord.
And she's like, okay, look, I got a serious situation over here. I got your wives all tied up. I'm going to kill them if you don't release our friends from prison. And then he goes, and just hangs it up. And she's like, God damn it, nobody's taking me seriously.
What do I have to do?
Look, we got to do some Bugs Bunny shit, okay? Can somebody get a delivery going? Can somebody do like a candygram or some shit? Give me a fucking meat cleaver. And he brings over the warden's wife to a table, and she's like, look, I'm sorry about this, but I need him to take me seriously. She fucking cuts her hand off. The next thing we see is some guy who works at the prison knocking on the warden's door, and he's like, oh, yeah, hey, Mr. Warden, you got a package?
I
for
was
you?"
told to bring this to you directly.
Yeah, some weird people came and brought this. It's a present for you. Which I guess nobody opens presents delivered to the warden, which must just be a normal thing, I guess. So he brings it in his office. He opens it up. He sees a severed hand of his wife, which, by the way, if this is his wife's hand, she has the most giant hands in history because this hand is fucking huge. It's like Godzilla's hand in this fucking box, man. This thing is giant. And he looks up in the air and he goes, my wife. Like, he knows right away it's
I
hers.
mean, only his wife had those giant hands.
Yeah.
Big hands, I know you're the one.
Okay, so then the next thing is the punks arrive at the prison at
Though I want to mention
they
before
call
we
the-
move on, though, shout out to the Mexican post office because, like, same day they got that shit.
I
to
tell you,
us.
it says like Bugs Bunny shit.
Yeah.
Like they just like Candygram and they bring the thing over. It's like fucking Elmer Fudd
Man,
there.
if it fits, it ships.
Yeah, dude, the Mexican post
Like,
office is
goddamn
on point, dude.
Efficient, man. We got nothing on them, dude.
Okay, so the next thing is the warden now takes a phone call. And she's like, okay, are you taking me seriously? And he goes, all right, what do you want? And she goes, look,
If you want to see any of your wives alive, we need you to free all the prisoners that are in cell block C.
how much did you expect, though, him to turn to the boys? And he goes, guys, do you really care they're going to kill our wives or let the prisoners
And
out?
one guy just rolls over on the couch. That's his answer.
Yeah. But no, they take it very seriously.
It's just like, you have till 5:30. And so the punks
AM.
are already celebrating. And they're rolling up to the prison just, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah. Intrépidos punk. You know, okay. They can have the band in the rape scene. They couldn't build a fucking motorcycle for the band to ride around
Yeah, they
in?
couldn't have done it like that dude in Fury Road.
Yeah,
Yeah.
really?
They're standing on the mattress in the back of a flatbed or something. Like Doof Warrior.
Yeah,
Just
one of them's
playing-
got the flamethrower guitar. I mean, come on, man.
It would have been amazing.
So now...
When Grindbin Studios remakes Intrépidos Punks, we're definitely going to Doof Warrior that shit.
Absolutely. You know, this movie, by the way, does become Fury Road at one point.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We're getting to that very soon.
George
So-
Miller.
Yeah. They're all at the prison. It's dawn, and they're just like five guys run
It's a
out.
great beat, though, of just like, are they going to do it? Because the punks start to worry because, like, it's quiet, nothing's happening. and
But
then,
you know
like,
they're going to do it because you're 1, 2, 3, 4.
There we go.
No, I forget. Does Tarzan have his mask on when he's released from prison?
No.
Or
You don't
okay,
even-
he hasn't
We don't
got
see
it yet.
him
You don't
run
even
around
see
the
him.
corner. We
Oh,
don't see him
yeah.
again until he's already
Yeah, I
there.
don't even think, by the way, that you see any of these guys that run out of the prison ever.
Because they're not dressed
again.
like punks.
No.
Well, they wouldn't be in prison
Oh, well,
anyway. They'd have
yeah.
gotten all the shit out of their hair and taken their outfits. So we do see him again later, but we don't recognize him.
You're telling me if I'm in prison, I can't, like, do my hair Mad Max
You
style?
can't have a big purple mohawk,
Yeah.
a safety pin in your nose.
Yeah.
I
Probably
mean,
not.
come on, man. Oh, well.
It's my identity, dude.
I would hope prison life is kind of like, Doomsday, the movie Doomsday. Like, you join various gangs. Like, I'd be the Renaissance
Yeah,
gang or the
eat
punk
somebody.
gang. Or, yeah.
Like Bronx Warriors.
Yeah.
Yeah, I want to be an Iron Man.
Yeah, that's what you got
Be
to
a
do.
dazzling Groot.
I think I'd be the Druid, yeah.
We talked about that. Before I joined the show, you talked about that.
We love
But yeah,
choreographed dance.
So here come the boys running around the corner. And
here they go. We'll never see them again.
oh, well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
So the Wand Squad now are reviewing the case.
Oh, yeah. Well, you're saying they're reviewing the case. No.
They're just going to sit around talking about it.
No, because when we get to them, we do see they're all excited they're home. They could bring them back to Punk Cave, and Tarzan's finally back. The cops are hanging out with the chief, Bobby, but they talk about the prison break for 1 second.
Yeah.
And then the chief goes, you know these dudes that broke out? He goes, yeah, actually we arrested that guy Tarzan before he was like part of this past bust.
Yeah.
And he's like, we'd really love to have that case. He goes, you know what, I'll put in a request. But for right now, I got another mission for you. I got another episode of Wand Squad. And
Wand to Wand.
Yeah.
Wand to Wand.
He goes,
one-on-one.
For this episode of One-on-One, you guys, they say, do you have any jobs for us while we wait for that job? He goes, give me 1 second, one scene, and we'll come back to it. Oh, no. This is what I write in my notes. I go, so we've already watched a case that had nothing to do with this movie.
We're establishing how badass the Wand Squad is.
But I'm pretty sure the case he gives them is Hedwig and her gang, but maybe not. And then I go, we don't find out because they're reading a file that they don't let the audience look at or tell them what's inside of it. They just look at a file, they go, oh, yeah, this is bad.
Yeah, they actually say when they're looking through the file, this is how we know it's Hedwig and the gang, because he goes, these are dangerous women. And then Wand 2 goes, but hot. And he goes, well, yeah. Yes, these are like college boys.
However, that will not be the case they pursue.
Nope.
Because we are now on the drug beat. Because the Wand Squad is apparently the all-encompassing, I don't know, like they're the FBI.
They're your one-stop shop, man.
The DEA, everything.
They are federales. They do it all.
Dude, this is like having two machetes.
So this is when we get to see Tarzan in his full lucha outfit.
Yeah, he is blinged out. He looks fucking fabulous.
God damn, it's amazing.
Tanner, you want to describe Tarzan's getup?
The kindest way is he's wearing a studded jockstrap on his face.
It's like dangling off of his face too.
Yeah. Or if you remember the gimmick that Just Incredible
Aldo Montoya.
Aldo Montoya. He's wearing an Aldo Montoya mask that's been studded.
He just kind of has the beaded curtain of an adult section of a video store over his mouth.
And he is tan as fuck.
Oh yeah.
He is like,
and he's yoked out.
brown.
He's got that barrel chest like an old luchador does.
He's got a sweet black armbands.
Now, is this the tan you think like it's a natural tan, or you think this is the tan that's going to come off in the ring? Like, you see the spots
little bit of
around
both.
after it, like a Triple H match where they're just...
Well, he's been locked in prison, so he's not getting a lot of sun.
That's true.
He's just tanning.
Tan's natural style.
And he rallies everybody, right? And he tells them, we're going to pair off the best men with the best women, and we're going to start this revolution right.
And he yells, Viva!
Which means we're just going to joust on our motorcycles.
Because he says, and now the party's going to start. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay. Now I have a lot of problems with this because they say we're going to start the revolution, but apparently it's tomorrow morning. But right now, let's go injure ourselves.
Yeah,
let's go destroy our soldiers.
We are bike jousting, and then we're mace fighting.
Yeah.
And then we're doing interpretive dance by the fire.
Yes. All of this happens, and I'm like, what? God damn it. Every time there's a revolution in a movie, it doesn't get started for one of two reasons.
It gets overshadowed by partying.
Christopher Walken's not there, or there's no cake.
Oh.
Like, you need one or the other to start a revolution.
We needed the welcome back from prison cake for Tarzan.
I know. They never got it, and so they're still waiting for the revolution to get started. At this point, fuck it. Let's just bike joust. Let's mace fight.
And then all of these festivities are broken down into a massive orgy in the desert.
Well, after a 5-minute interpret dance. 5 fucking minutes!
At this point, I 2 times speed this movie, and I did not miss a thing.
I slowed it down.
Oh,
I wanted more. I wanted to live here. I assume this is what they do in Wasteland Weekend.
Okay, I've
been to Wasteland Weekend.
Is this how it is?
That's pretty much it.
Yeah. Are you Intrépidos punks for a weekend?
Yeah.
Can we
boring.
go? It seems kind of boring, actually.
When I went,
it seems fun for the first 10 minutes, and then you're like, what else is there?
It's only fun at night, but the problem is you're there for fucking all day. So like you're just sitting in the desert for 12 hours until the sun goes down.
In a stupid outfit.
Yeah. It's rough.
But guys, I wrote my notes. Have they never seen the cheerleaders? Because they would know.
They're fucking themselves out.
They're fucking themselves out. And then I was like, oh my God, wait a second. Have the cheerleaders infected the Intrépidos punks?
Intrépidos cheerleaders?
Because I remember from that episode, way back in episode 2, I theorized that the cheerleaders are actually aliens sent from another planet to destroy mankind.
It may have happened. In fact, I think this black-haired girl
Yeah.
She might be one of them. Because
Didn't you
she
hear
suddenly starts...
I
I did, actually, behind Three Souls in my mind, playing their 14th rendition of Intrépidos Punks.
I'm just going to read you my notes while the orgy's going on in
Okay.
the interpretive dance, because this is what I started theorizing about the cheerleaders.
Oh, wonderful.
Because there's so much filler that I wrote, I'd really like to see a movie where the cheerleaders time travel and fuck out various moments in history. Maybe ruin something, maybe they take down Hitler or something like that. That would be real great. Like maybe they sneak into Hitler's bunker and like he's going to make his escape, but and they fuck out all the Nazis and everything. Or you could have like something like maybe Attila the Hun, maybe a Napoleon thing. All these things where like people fall because the cheerleaders fuck them out. I'm writing this in my notes. The movie's still going on. There's still a dance and an orgy going on. And then I start writing. I'm writing all this in real time. As the orgy scene continues to go, now I've started petting my cat, who has jumped onto my lap while I'm trying to watch this movie and write my notes. I notice his litter box is dirty. I have now gotten up and cleaned it. I have also fed him. I have sat down, and the orgy has not finished.
Well, a couple of things that happened while you were doing that. This girl starts whipping a guy with a switch. And he's not into it for the most part. Like, it's pretty great because he keeps looking up at her like, ow, shit, why? What are you doing?
Action!
Yeah, he's like, wait, I didn't talk about this.
It was the director, man. It was Francisco.
Oh, definitely. And then one of the punks I call Giggles. Is this Billy Idol looking dude, and he's
got the sweet football pads, right?
Yeah, he's
They call
rocking
him
the football
Thrasher
pads
from the Dreadnoks.
I like it. Yeah. So Thrasher is with a girl, and she's trying to sex him down a little. She's doing a little dance, she's taking off her top. She's got her back to him, and she turns around to see what he's up to, and he has turned his back to her and is jerking it. He's not looking at her.
Oh, they're called fetishes,
he's
Bobby.
Just having at it.
Some people like to turn around in a crowded room and jack off.
But while his back is turned, Mike, another one of the Intrépidos punks runs up and just puts that girl over his shoulder, and they run off together. The guy still...
That's actually when he climaxed, because that's the fetish.
I think so.
It's turning around, jacking off
It's
while
called
another man...
cave-manning?
Yeah, exactly.
Cave-manning. Real big fetish.
Did I steal your joke? Was that what you were building towards?
No. I think that was great.
Cave-manning.
That worked.
That was great.
And so he turns around, still hacking it, and sees that she is gone, and he starts laughing, and then that laugh kind of turns into tears. He goes...
That's also part of the...
And that's when he
fetish,
finished.
so, yeah.
and he just goes face down on the ground, sad of the whole situation.
Oh, God.
So now we cut back to the Wand Squad, and they've gone undercover.
Okay, you say undercover, but they've just put on cowboy hats, and goddamn did they stick out in this bar. As they,
It is not a cowboy bar.
No, it is not. And the waitress comes up, and she's like, oh, do you want anything? And he goes, some drugs.
We're looking for whores and drugs.
You know where we can get some of that cocaine?
I think Peter Griffin.
And
I'm looking for some drugs.
Yeah, some of that marijuana. Is that how you say it? And she's like, yeah, I'll go talk to Mr. Drugs here in the corner. And so she just goes over to this guy, and she's like, I think they want drugs. And he goes, yeah, they seem fine. Send them over.
Seems legit.
Yeah. And so he comes over, and he's like, so you guys want the drugs? They're like, yeah, we'd like some drugs. And then the guy goes, okay, well, I got to go talk to the big boss and see if he approves of it. And when the guy walks away, the wands turn to each other and go, I think we're going to get some drugs, man. We're going to get the big
he
fish.
says,
We are so good at this. We are the best cops.
These guys are going to take us to the big fish.
By the way, the waitress is right there. She's standing
Everyone can hear
right
him.
next to them as they go, I think we're going to get him. I think we're going to arrest him. Should we keep our voices down?
And when this guy goes, so who the fuck are you guys anyway? They just go, we're from the north. Yeah. We're
Yeah.
from the north and we like drugs.
Yeah. Love it.
And so we get to see the big boss, the big fish, and it's Patchy. It's
Yeah.
One Eye. It's number 2.
And he's like, what are you guys looking for? He's like, for that, some of that cocaine, which I think I put it up my nose.
I
hear it's good.
Yes.
Cocaine, which I enjoy all the time recreationally with my friend here.
Yes. We like to roll up our pesos and put it in our nostrils. Do
And
you
he
have
goes,
any, sir?
And he goes, okay, first things first, guys from the north.
That love cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine-loving fellas
And
from the north.
marijuana.
I need to see the color of your money.
Oh, it's great. It's pesos. It's
And they do a quick
I
little
I believe the
of
color
the
is
cash.
white. I don't know what the color of a peso is. Do you?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I've never held a peso. I'm sorry. I'm from the north. And the guy sees the money and he agrees. He goes to his henchman and goes, "All right, sort out the order." And that's when the Wand Squad give each other the nod.
Yeah.
And they quick draw from their boots.
Yeah, and then they shoot up the whole fucking
What's
place.
the point of this whole fucking thing?
We just start shooting up everything to begin with.
And was
this supposed to be a joke? How bad they were?
I don't know, man. But they immediately turn. They headshot a guy, and then they're breaking mirrors. They're rolling around, and they've shot up everybody but number 2, and they both put a gun on him and go, "Freeze, you fucking gangster!"
I mean, this would be as like. This
I
is
love
what
this episode of One-on-One.
One-on-one's the best
This
show.
is what I imagine. Like the only person worse undercover would be like Chuck Norris. Would probably do the same type of thing. He's like, I'm here for drugs.
And then the second a guy goes, "Yeah, let me go get the bus," he goes, kicks him.
Yeah, exactly. And it's
And
like,
the whole thing's blown. Yeah, we can get you some drugs. That's all I need. Kick.
yeah, because at this point the drugs weren't even brought to the room.
No,
They just started
the guy
shooting
just went,
everybody up.
Yeah, we can get you some coke. How much you need? They're like, die. They just pull their guns
They're
out.
like, whoa, guys.
Well, shit got a little hot. They needed to shoot their way out of there. I think that's all it is they got nervous.
You guys are cops? Holy shit, you got us, man. Woo.
So
What a disguise.
So we cut from that to a Mexican gas station, the Pemex.
Oh, boy.
And the punks all come rolling up, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Intrépidos bucks. Gonna get some gas. Gonna fill our bikes.
They're all wearing black.
Intrépidos punks.
You know, because they got quite the haul. Like, these guys have got to drive all the way from town back to the cave. It's kind of a haul to get back and forth, right?
Yeah.
So they need some gas.
But the clerk knows what's up, because the second they roll up, he goes inside to get his gun.
Yeah, with
He's
his
like,
girlfriend,
"Fuck no."
by the way. So
Yeah.
I believe it's his girlfriend with
Yeah.
him. They both go inside.
And the second he comes out with his gun, one of the punks was waiting next to the door with like an old coal miner's glove.
Yeah.
he's got a brown glove that he won in a match with Sting in WCW, and he's got spikes on like a metal strip across the knuckles, and he
Yeah.
sucker punches him right in the gut with it.
Yeah, and then,
And then Tarzan declares free gasolina for everyone.
I got a big problem with this because it doesn't seem like anybody's filling the tanks.
No, they're all just hanging out.
Because they decide whether like, well, hold
The
on,
gas party.
there's a woman, so we're gonna do that kind of light rape.
And
we're gonna lay
specifically,
on
what
her.
they do here, which is kind of interesting, is we have a lesbian punk.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The punk that chases her down is a lady.
the lesbian punk.
Lesbian punks. And
She prefers girls. Intrépidos punks.
Yeah, and then like two guys watch her, and they're like, "That's cool, that's cool. Can we join?" She's like, "Yeah, have your turn." And then at the same
and
time,
this is another smooch rape.
yeah,
Because like
yeah.
these extras don't wanna, and I'm glad of this. I'd really
Oh,
have a
thank
problem
God.
watching anything graphic here. But yeah, they're just sort of like holding her down and giving her kisses on the shoulder.
Yeah, and then they take her
Meanwhile-
boyfriend, and
Yeah,
they're
he
like,
gets hosed.
"Time for a little bath." They pour gasoline all over this poor man.
And then they do a magic trick where they drag him behind half of a brick wall
Yeah.
and then walk out from behind it, throw a match behind that wall, and a man on fire runs out.
Yeah,
A different
man
guy,
on fire.
a guy in
Yeah.
a different outfit runs by.
David
fire.
Copperfield stunt double runs out on fire.
Kane Hodder.
freak!
And by the
Yeah,
way,
Kane Hodder came out, did the fire bit. fell
by the
back
way,
down.
he's in a fucking field of grass, green grass. Nobody ever taught him to stop, drop, and roll because he just stands there and goes
running in a circle for a while. Pretty
and then he
long
falls on
though
the ground
before he
and-
fell
and
down.
burns.
It's impressive for that kind of
And
stunt.
nobody has filled up their fucking tank as they just drive off. That pissed me off
Yeah.
so much. I'm just like, what was
So
the
now-
point
yeah,
of killing the guy?
No one has bought any gas or stolen any gas here. We're cruising down the street in our 6'4".
And they just-
Tarzan is going through beers like Cold Stone, Steve Austin.
I'm gonna get some mix-ins.
What? We're
I'm
gonna give it some
stomp a
hot
mud
fudge.
pie
What?
in your ass.
if Steve Austin had
Next person
lasted,
who comes into here is getting a mud pie stomped in his piece of trash.
if he had lasted a little bit longer in wrestling, he would have no doubt been a
Become
Cold
Cold
Stone.
Stone
Yeah,
Steve Austin?
exactly.
If you gotta have it, give me a hell yeah. Oh, hell yeah.
And instead of singing for you when you gave him a tip, they would give you the stunner. It would have been fucking great, man.
we're gonna give it some whipped cream, what? We're gonna roll it in nuts, what?
Okay, maybe there was a point in his career where he got a little bit chubby. Called him Cold Stone.
Kurt
Steve
Angle could do that in a promo. It'd be pretty
God.
brilliant.
But my point was that Tarzan is whipping through beers like Cold Stone Steve Austin.
His dude, look, he got out of jail and he's drinking every,
Yeah.
Corona, Tecate, whatever
Whatever
he
he
can
can
find,
find. And we're padding the runtime, but just like driving down the road and just holding the camera on him while he goes through another bottle of beer.
This is when they're sitting on a mattress,
Yeah.
attached to the back of a motorcycle, apparently. And then this is when the cops are hanging out with the chief.
Yeah, Juan Squad are being commended.
Yeah, they're talking about how great everything's gone. They're like, man, you've done it all, dude. You stopped the black market Sears. You stopped drugs. There's nothing left except for, hey, guess what, guys? You got the job. You got that case that you wanted about that guy, that Tarzan guy. We're giving you the case. And they're like,
And you know what? To
"That's
help
great."
you with the case, we're adding a third mustache.
Yeah, so that's great.
Enter Jorge.
52 minutes into the movie, we can start it.
Yeah.
We can start the movie.
This is like a late season Juan and Juan, or Juan to Juan. Now it's Juan and Jorge.
He's
Dude, this
the cousin Oliver of Juan.
This is like later Shield, you know, when they
Yeah.
started adding in like Forrest Whitaker for
Well,
a
yeah.
season, or
Lem was dead. We needed to do something.
yeah, yeah. So.
Intrépidos punks!
You don't remember that scene when Vic Mackey broke in
Took
on
on
a
the
gang
Intrépidos
rape
punks?
with a punk band? So the punks have arrived at some sort of quarry.
Yeah, there's this work crew breaking rocks.
Yeah.
But they're not prisoners or anything, because we go into the tent and we watch the payroll department say, like, we better hurry up with these envelopes. These guys are about to get paid.
This is like in The Evil That Men Do, that Bronson movie, where they just randomly go to a rock quarry
Yeah.
at some point because they're like, look, we can film here, right?
Look, we can film here for free. And so the punks roll up, and they want that money, man. They
I
want
guess
that payroll
they
cash.
want all 500
But
pesos
you don't
they're giving
fuck
out
with
to
the-
these
You don't fuck
dudes.
with the working man's pay, because like suddenly we got an army armed with
Yeah,
shovels.
that's what you want to do. Go rob the guys who are making minimum wage on payroll day. Like, what
That's
the
punk
fuck,
as
dude?
fuck.
Yeah.
You know
so
what that
we got a
is.
shovel fight. And so, like, all the workers versus all the punks, it's a massive brawl. It's a Royal Rumble going on here.
Yes,
and
funny
I
you say
because Tarzan gets in the mix, and he does a big running drop kick, like perfect form,
Uh-huh.
up in the air.
And then the bell tolls.
The bell tolls. One of the guys runs up on him, and he scoops him and gives him the tombstone pile driver.
It is a just legit tombstone pile driver.
Straight
does a-
up. He does it like The Undertaker.
Tombstone pile driver. I knew at this point, I was like, that's why Bobby picked this movie.
Oh, my pants flew off. Excuse me, Mr. Crown picked this movie, and we're on a raft in a lake.
Would you have the
Splash,
breakaway
splash.
Adidas pants at home? You just ripped them
Oh,
off.
like I was getting off the bench at a basketball game. Let's get in
those
there.
pants.
Intrépidos pants.
Your wife's trying to sleep. She hears the pants ripped off. She goes, "You're not watching that again, are you?"
And so that's not where he stops, though, because then he grabs another guy, puts him on the shoulder, gives him the big body slam, and then grabs a rock and breaks it over his head.
Well, not just breaks it over his head, as we see later, he crushes the man's head.
Yeah.
And we
It's
get
a big
that-
boulder. And
Yeah.
Just,
And then you know what? They hear police sirens and everybody runs off. And I'm just writing, what the fuck
Well,
was the
right before
what
that, though,
is
there's a steamroller, like a
that
earth
happens
move.
because
that's
they all
after.
start
Okay.
running away.
because
and
one of the
thought,
punks steals the bulldozer as they're leaving.
I thought at
okay.
one point that the cops were showing up in bulldozers.
That's the only
you
way
hear
to
the
stop 'em.
siren, and then you see a bulldozer. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah, we never found out where that siren came from because the cops show up way later.
Yeah,
But yeah, right before that happens, one of the punks is whipping a guy with an orange My Pet Monster chain.
it's, just
It's
punk as
clearly
fuck,
a
dude.
plastic chain. It's bright orange, and she's just like, ha ha, whip, whip, whip. Meanwhile, Tarzan is crushing skulls.
So they got to start the new wacky race,
Yeah.
and they all just kind of drive away, and
But
none of
one
what we've
them-
seen
one
really
of them decides
matters.
to steal the bulldozer, and another punk falls off the bike, and he accidentally runs him over.
Punk as fuck, dude.
It's super punk.
And so then we're back at the police station, and this local chief now is telling
The commander.
the Juan squad, he's like, all about how these gangs are really bad and they
Is he
live in
kind
a
of filling
cave.
them in on the movie so far before
Yeah,
they
he's
join
like,
the case?
look, there's these guys. They live in a cave. They've robbed banks. They do all sorts of crazy shit,
looking
man.
for punk cavemen.
Yeah, and he's like, okay, so
With a
you guys
bulldozer.
are on the case. So the next thing we see is that the punks commandeer a truck from some dude.
It's a gasoline truck.
Yeah.
Because they forgot to get gas at the gas
Because
station.
they forgot to get gas.
At least somebody realized and went, ah, fuck. You
because
know?
basically they go, now we have gas forever.
What's great, too, is that, as we'll get later, they don't use this either.
No, they don't use it. So they've stolen a big gas truck, and then I said, fuck it, punk party. 20 minutes
Desert
left.
dance party.
Fucking punk party. It's like goddamn Burning Man or some shit. Just
And during this, Tarzan and Hedwig share like a tender moment where she kind of talks about her backstory a little bit.
Yep.
Before you get to that, though, I would like to say it doesn't have my favorite part in the whole movie where they forgot the camera was running. And the cinematographer is clearly just holding it as it just shows everybody's feet.
Oh yeah,
And they were like-
it looked like the cameraman passed out.
Yeah, and you imagine they got back, they're like, what the fuck, dude? We recorded all this?
Yeah. Someone
We
passed the joint to
developed
the
this
cameraman,
film.
and he forgot what he was doing.
And they're like, well, shit, we got to put it in the movie or something, man.
We're doomed. We got to get this movie.
So
an hour
sorry
and
to
a half. We
interrupt,
can't cut
but
anything.
I didn't want to pass over
That's very good.
my legit favorite part of this movie where the cameraman, like you said, smoked a joint and kind of fell asleep.
Put the camera down and partied. He was out boning in the desert with one of the punks.
It was like basically you saw the craft service line
Yeah.
as he's just going from leg to leg.
And so they have this moment, and they're kind of, about how they're going to be together forever, and, she'll never have to worry again because she's with him now. And right as they're about to kiss, the green-haired lady punk from earlier in the film walks up. And she's like, Hedwig! And she's clearly drunk. She's like, I want to see if you're really that hot shit, you bitch. And she pulls out a revolver, and immediately Tarzan's like, yoink. He's like, nope,
"Oh,
nope,
boy."
hey. And he's kind of spinning it, and he's making sure it's all loaded and everything. He pops a couple bullets out, stuff
Yeah.
like that. And then he hands it over to Hedwig, and they decide they're going to play a little Russian roulette.
Yeah.
You want to see who's real hot shit? Let's do it. You go first. Or I'll go first.
And she does.
And she does, and click. No, it doesn't work. Hedwig's good to go. Hand it over to the green punk. Wonder what's going to happen here.
Bang! Green
Yeah.
punk dead.
No exit wound.
No exit wound. She just falls to the ground.
This is like The Room. You hear the gun go bang, but you don't see anything happen.
It's punk as fuck, dude.
Yeah.
And that's
Bolt
where the
didn't even
line
come out.
that
That's what
Tanner said at the
Tarzan
beginning
says. Caligula, pirate. Was he throw her in the ditch?
Two of the dreadnoughts.
Yeah. Throw her in the ditch. So then the next day, the revolution has to
The
wait
worst thing that could have happened.
because they're all out of snow and wheat, is what he says. He goes,
it's kind
guys,
of.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
He goes, guys, I got some bad news. I know we're going to start the revolution all, but guys, we're out of snow and weed, and we know how that's really important for the revolution.
The punks are booing.
Yeah, so he's like, so we got a plan. We're going to get some more. We're kind of low on pesos, but we know where our priorities are.
Look, we're going to go to the city. We know how to get some more.
Yeah.
It was kind of Jack Sparrow, like, why is all the rum gone? They party all night, and they go, oh, fuck, we're out of drugs.
So
And
he
we have
goes-
no gas or money.
We're going to go to Mr. Drugs' house, and we're going to figure this shit out.
And
So-
they do. They go to Senor Drugs.
Yeah. We watch a whole thing where they go, Intrépidos punks, as they drive all the way to Senor
Yeah.
Drugs' house.
We fire up the band and go, man.
They go in there, and they're like, yeah, so we want some drugs. And he's like, oh, okay, well,
He's like,
are you
well,
going to
hold
pay
on.
for them and
He
everything?
goes, I only work with powerful people.
Yeah.
I'm going to worry about it. And Tarzan looks up in his dangly mask and goes, well, I'm the leader of a very powerful organization. And he goes,
This
all
is
right.
so dumb.
I'll tell you what then. He goes,
I like Mr. Drugs because he looks like Mexican Joe Dante.
He does,
yeah, it's good.
Senor Dante.
And he goes, let me
Dante.
offer you something. I'd like you guys to work for me if you're so powerful. And he goes, no. We're free. We won't work for anybody. And he goes, look, it's simple. All I want you to do, pick up some merchandise over here, drop it off over there. And they're starting to listen, and Hedwig is like, well, how much are we talking? He goes, 500 big ones. And they sit back down.
So it's just 500 pesos?
We
stole
I think he means 500 grand. I
Okay,
think big
'cause
ones
we
meaning
stole-
like
But they-
500,000.
But they stole 3 million pesos
Yeah,
from
they
a
stole
bank.
3
But
million.
they've gone through it already.
Well,
Yeah.
every
They've
little
gone
bit
through
helps,
it on
right?
beer.
But they
and,
have no intention of delivering the drug. This is such the stupidest fucking plan. Is that these punks come into of Senor Drugs' house and they go, we want to buy some drugs. And he goes, how about you work for me? I'll give you all the drugs in the world, and all you got to do is drop it off, and then I'll pay you money, and then I'll sell you drugs.
Yeah.
And they're like,
And so
yeah, that
naturally,
sounds great.
He
and
gives them a bunch of snow and weed, and
Yeah.
he hands them a rifle.
he hands him a rifle.
And then they cut immediately to them rolling in their convertible, and Tarzan sitting in the back and just goes, "Dumbasses."
yeah.
He's like, "What the hell did they
goes,
give me all
well-
that and think I'm actually gonna do it?"
Yeah, he says, I ain't going to deliver those drugs. And they're like, well, Tarzan, what are we going to do? And he's like, I don't give a fuck. They're not going to stop me.
But it's a double, Mike, with grilled onions.
Because Senor Drugs and his goons are following close by, and they go, well, they didn't think anybody would follow them, would
he
they?
knew they weren't gonna do it. He knew a rat when he saw one.
But
Senor
then-
Dante
So he's like,
knows
you know
a
what?
rat.
We're gonna follow them to their base, and we're gonna get our merchandise back.
But-
Those double crossers.
But one of the goons goes, but boss, they got a lot of people, and they also got guns. And he goes, but we got better guns. And he goes, whatever you say, boss.
Normally, I would agree. They do have better guns. I don't know why things don't go their way.
Well, I can tell you why. Because it's 3 guys versus 500.
That'll happen.
But they literally
fucking Butch and
No,
Sundance.
we'll get there. At this point, I'm
Tanner.
like, what?
This is just saying, like, how come Thelma and Louise couldn't get away at the end? You know? Like,
And so Tarzan arrives, and he holds up the big bag of weed, the big bag of coke, and he goes, "Brothers, Look what I've brought you. Blow, marvelous blow, and weed, good weed.
And they're like, yay! And then all of a sudden,
Dude comes out.
Senor Drugs comes out looking
From
like
behind a
fucking
rock.
Al Capone with a Tommy gun. Yeah.
Al Pacino.
Yeah, he goes, see here.
He goes, I want what's mine. See, you tried to pull a fast one. Now you're all gonna die. 1, 2, 3, 4.
It's like the Home Alone scene. He's like, hey, listen up, you
remind me of that.
filthy
You
animal.
filthy animal. I'm gonna give you 3 seconds to give me and yeah, the band clicks it out, and we got a massive gunfight.
Yeah, and you know what happens? All those goons get fucked up, man.
A lot
One of them
happened.
gets shot.
Oh yeah, one of them gets shot. Giggles kills a guy with a ninja star.
Yeah, ninja star to the throat. The other guy gets. I believe he's knocked down at one point.
Tarzan hits a high cross body off the gas truck.
Senor Drugs runs
Perfect
away.
form, man. I gotta tell you, that Tarzan.
Senor Drugs does get away because he
Yes.
drives away in his car. But
the other guys aren't so lucky. They get dragged behind bikes.
he does get a crossbody from the top of the gas truck, which I did love.
It's so good,
you
man.
know?
I mean, he hits that crossbody like he's Ricky Steamboat.
He dives on him. They tie him to they're like drawn quartering him almost. They're tying him to
I
the back of him.
expected them to actually.
That
do
comes
Yeah,
later,
yeah.
but right now we're just dragging him around.
So when they drag the remaining goon around for a while, they then eventually tie him up onto the gas tank, which nobody has fucking used to fill up their
Just
gas
had it
tanks
sitting
yet. They got the big gas truck. They light a fucking Looney Tunes size fuse.
Like, it was such a Looney Tunes fuse, I expected the guy to be trying to blow it out.
Yeah, exactly. Like, whoo, whoo, whoo. He's tied on top of this gas truck. And you know what? This is what I wrote, guys. They just want to see these fucking wacky kids. They just want to see the world burn, dude.
Those
Because
wackadoo
they
punks.
just fucking drive away as the fuse is going. They don't even
cheese
want to
it, man.
see.
They don't want to be there when it happens.
Yeah.
Now, important distinction at this point. We were watching this on archive.org,
Yeah.
where they have it for free that you could stream. There was a glitch, though. And at this point where the fuse is moving up the side of the truck and the guy's panicking, the image freezes, but the audio keeps going.
Yeah.
To the end of the film, it's just a still image of that Looney Tunes fuse. So I can't speak for both of you, but I had to finish watching this on YouTube in its original language.
Yep.
I just thought it was kind of like, you ever played that video game Mad Dog McCree?
Nope.
When you got to shoot, it's one of those live action ones where you use a gun.
Like Lethal Enforcers?
Yeah, and there's a part where you got to shoot a fuse and it just freezes for a while if you do it correctly before it just kind of goes out.
God. The
So
Sega CD had to load the next scene.
Yeah, it's exactly that type of game.
So when you watched it on YouTube, did you do the thing where you did subtitles and then translate?
Yeah, I pulled up
and it is
Spanish
very
closed
confusing.
captioning, and then I auto-translated the Spanish closed captioning to English. So it's like running something through a translator twice.
Is
So it's
exactly what I had to do.
bonkers
And
from
I
the
was
rest of
like,
the movie.
You know, Tarzan never talked like this in the first part of the movie, but he is not making a lot of sense now.
But I think I
all the
made
drugs.
mostly sense out of it. My notes are kind of... I got the gist. With what limited Spanish I can understand versus like what little bit of translation we got.
Well, this part needs no explanation because what they do is after they kill a man, we have to watch them drive all the way back to town because you know what? They need to do a little beer run.
Yeah.
And we watch them go
And
into a
we see
fucking
the explosion
general
in the
store.
distance while they're leaving when the gas truck went off.
Intrépidos punks need to buy beer. And they go into the store and he's like, all right, buy some beer.
But they
Then
peep that there's cops tailing them. So
But
the Three
Tarzan-
Stooges hide behind a tree.
But Tarzan is in a car,
Mhm.
and he looks over, and I think he notices that one of the wands is the guy that arrested him. Because
Yeah.
he knows these
He remembers
cops.
from 4 years ago.
Yes. Now, you can barely make that out of the translation, because I'm like, I think he knows them.
No, he does to get that across, and he says, we got to kill them like dogs.
And they're like, okay, sounds good.
And so Jorge drops the wand squad
This
off
is so confusing.
at the big ranch house. I think
This-
the home
I
belongs to
don't
one of those. There's also an implication through the dialogue that Jorge is of an alternate lifestyle.
What
because
the fuck?
the
See,
wands
this is
are
again
talking
lost
about
in translation, I think.
the wands are talking about getting some women later once this is all wrapped up, and then they make a reference to Jorge not being into that. He's more interested in men.
Now that you say that, yeah, okay. I feel
It's
like
very
I did
throwaway.
catch
They
that.
don't play it for
Yeah.
a joke. They don't play it. It's just sort of like it's like J.K. Rowling suddenly added. She's like, oh, by the way, Jorge was gay the whole time. You're
Oh,
like,
and that's why one of the wands turns to the camera and goes, and there's nothing wrong with that.
and you know what? That's
Nothing
fine.
wrong.
Yeah, but basically they're just like, oh, by the way, Jorge's gay. Move it on.
By the way, it's so confusing because we watch all these people get into cars and then people get dropped off and then all this shit going on. I'm like, I don't know what the fuck is going on right now.
So what we got though is that he's dropping the wands off at one of their houses, some big ass estate.
We don't know why.
I thought it was the hotel, like they were staying in a hotel or something.
It doesn't seem to be because there aren't people there for the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, like patrons of the hotel.
Like why are we watching this? Like
I
they're
don't know.
dropping people off and everything.
But Jorge takes off. He says, "Bye guys," and then holy shit, it's an ambush. Hit the song.
why did we introduce Jorge
They
into
kidnapped
this
the
movie?
wands. The gardener saw, and he's gonna tell Jorge.
Yeah, because the gardener does see.
Because Jorge gets, he gets onto the freeway and he goes, "Ah, fuck, I forgot my portfolio."
And then when he comes back, this gardener runs up to him and he goes, Mr. Jorge, I saw these crazy punk guys. Some guy was dressed like a lucha.
There's a luchador and a bunch of dudes with big pink hair.
Fucking pile drive some dude, and they just drove out of here. And he's like, oh, shit.
I know exactly who you're talking about. I better call it into the chief.
So then we go back to the punk cave, and the cops.
This is where the cops are tied up 2000 Maniacs style.
Yeah. And everybody's chanting, Muerte, Muerte, Muerte. And I'm like,
1, 2, 3, 4.
so glad I understand some
Intrépidos
Spanish.
punks.
Tie them into trees. They're not trees.
Gonna pull them apart.
Okay.
This is turning into a Cheech and Chong. Da-da-dun, da-da-dun, dun.
Then when I write down in my notes, I go, some really old-ass dudes show up with guns.
Well, yeah, now
Like-
they called it into the to the squad. So,
Yeah.
we find out why the wands are the only ones who get sent on cases because everyone else is minimum 60 years old.
Yeah. It's like a bunch of geriatrics with...
The wands are the only guys
Like,
young enough to go do the action.
We're talking like single bolt rifles that you gotta like load
Remember that
manually.
Civil War
Yeah,
reenactment.
and so they're like walking up. They're like, "There's some punks out here."
Get off
like,
my lawn!
These damn punks.
I'm like, so this guy with a fucking
It's fucking Gran Torino up in here.
is gonna take down all 500 punks with his fucking bolt action rifle.
Like, man, this ending is gonna be off the fucking chain. This is gonna be awesome.
I was like, this guy's gonna play fucking Call of Duty 1.
It's
you
like,
know?
oh
He's
shit,
just-
oh shit, Call of Duty won in this case. So, the cops are closing in while the punks are rolling
Well,
out.
you should say cops. You mean 4 old dudes. 4
And Jorge.
with like some
4 old guys and Jorge. That's all that's left.
and like pockets of ammo.
Yeah.
Like they got like a pocket with like 10
They're
bullets.
coming
in
to
it.
do their best.
And they're like, I think we'll get them.
And it turns out the punks have taken over this ranch house completely. This
Yeah.
is the new headquarters. They're no longer in the cave. They've tied each of the wands to stakes. And like they're gonna burn them, but they're not gonna burn them actually. As Tarzan makes a big speech, he explains, "We're gonna bury him alive,"
Yeah.
and because he's a wrestler and that's what he knows. It's like, oh yeah, it's buried alive. We're gonna do it.
This is a loser leaves town
Yeah.
match.
Oh,
Exactly.
buried alive match.
He
Vince
declares
McMahon,
it.
you hack.
He declares it a buried alive match. Everyone starts cheering, and the punks start digging graves. And now the cops are starting to infiltrate, though, because like you see Jorge, like he's climbing a wall now. He's sneaking in the back. Another cop comes over and lassos one of the lookout punks
Okay.
off the
there's
top of the
drummer
wall.
punk.
Before we get to
Drummer-
this,
the drummer for Three Souls
Yeah,
in My Mind gets lassoed off.
before we get to this, maybe my second favorite part of the whole movie, they've only brought 1 pickaxe and 1 shovel. And to dig 2 graves, they are taking turns 1 person at a time. Like one guy goes and he does like 3 swings, then he hands it to
We'll
another guy.
maybe get it done
He
by
does
sundown.
3 swings, then another guy goes, okay, now I'll dig up some of that loose dirt.
Have you ever been to a Jewish funeral?
I'm
No.
sorry, you all take turns with the pickaxe?
The attendees to the funeral, they bury the body. Like one.
Everybody
like,
takes a scoop.
Everyone takes a scoop. But this is just the Intrépido punk way.
That's interesting. I've turns out they're Jewish.
Yeah.
The whole group.
Man,
We're going
remind
back
me
to France.
never to go to a Jewish funeral. because
It's a lot
I don't
of
wanna
work.
do. I don't
Wear
want to
comfortable
work.
shoes.
You're like, what? Do I got to bury a body now? Jesus, that's a terrible funeral.
I
So
mean,
I would
funerals
go-
are kind of terrible in general, but
Yeah, that's not the fun funeral I'm
So
used to.
you're telling me that in
I'm
this
Irish.
case,
yeah, I was like, Irish funerals are the way to go.
it's a lot of like people go to the wake, but they're like, can't really make it to the burial part.
Yeah,
You know?
one part of that shit. So yeah, we're doing a Hitman level.
Everybody grab a shovel. Like,
Man,
sorry, that's crazy.
so that's a good point though, Tanner. That it seems to be the drummer from Three Souls in My Mind who gets like, whoop, like a
Yeah,
Looney
he's on
Tunes.
the wall. I
He
was
gets
like, oh, it's the
pulled
drummer.
off the wall with a lasso.
Oh yeah, don't we know he's the drummer because he's got a drumstick?
He's
in
sitting
his
there
hand?
like drumming on the wall.
Yeah.
And I think he is the guy from earlier. He's
Yeah,
got the-
because
like, got the
we get a lot of
blonde
shots of
mohawk.
the drummer. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the
Because they want to get that band logo in the shot.
By the way, these old dudes are just sneaking in Splinter Cell style. Like they're just taking
They're under
dudes
boxes,
out. Yeah,
they're in bushes.
They're taking people out one at a time.
It's pretty cool. Jorge like throws a knife into a guy and then runs up and hits a jump kick. Fucking Jorge, man.
Intrépidos punks.
And there's a massive brawl, massive shootout. It's
A lot of
fucking
ninja
chaos.
stars.
Yep.
Ninja stars. Every actor, every extra playing an old cop or an Intrépidos punk is improvising what they're doing in the scene. Like one guy's getting like choked with a crowbar. Another guy's just like got a pillow. It's fans bring the weapons night at the Intrépidos punk camp.
So Tarzan goes to make his escape in his car, and when he goes to drive away, Hedwig just gets shot by like a sniper. So hey,
Takes a bullet to the
old
head.
dude
man.
with the carabine worked, dude.
Yeah,
just
man.
fucking clocks her from like 200
Achievement
yards.
unlocked.
He's got experience.
And she goes,
That World War II rifle.
by the way,
Hedwigged pops up on the screen.
oh man. By the way, this is what happens when you get
Headshot
shot in
and
the
angry
forehead is you can still scream and move.
Yeah,
she goes,
I was unsure at first because she's just like, damn,
and then she falls forward. And then
But,
Tarzan goes, fuck it, and drives away. But then
Yeah.
they catch him, and he's arrested.
The Wand Squad, dad bods on full display. Both of them have their shirts flowing open. And
we do get a car chase for.
We get
it's
a
not
long
really a
car chase.
It's more just there's two cars driving on a mountain
right,
road.
it's
The wands,
Tarzan
the
takes
wands
off.
are pursuing Tarzan.
Yeah, Tarzan takes off in one of the trike motorcycles, right?
Yeah.
And I was really disappointed that the wands didn't, because they established there's multiple trike.
It would have been great, but they use their trusty car that breaks
Yeah.
down half the time.
It's not a car chase. It's just sped up footage of people driving
That's
on a mountain.
it. Because then he eventually, like in Billy Jack, he just decides to pull over, even though he was
Yeah,
smoking
he
him on
just
the
for
street.
no reason just is like.
And we have a
you know
ditch
what,
fight.
guys? I feel like I got to give up. You know,
Yeah.
I'm gonna
And,
go ahead and turn myself in.
This match ends with a shattered dreams because they just straight up he just gets punted right in the balls. And as soon as
As
he
you
hits the
know,
ground, they grab him and throw him in handcuffs.
My favorite wrestling finisher, is the Shattered Dreams, because you instantly get disqualified.
Yep.
How great is that? Your finishing move is so good, you get disqualified instantly.
You,
so it's like,
you can only do your finishing move when the ref's
well,
not looking.
you did it. You lose. But in the real, you really did win in the
He
end.
lost the battle, but he
Yeah.
won the war. So this war is won. They're hauling off, and they show that the punks are being loaded into a paddy wagon. The surviving ones, or the remaining ones, are being loaded in a paddy wagon. Tarzan is handcuffed on the ground, and now we've cut to the epilogue.
This is
We're having
the
dinner with the chief.
weirdest little Marvel end scene.
Oh, I loved it. It was so good. So they're sitting there eating their dinner, and the Wands are proud. They're chuffed. They're just like, yeah,
Dude.
we did it, man. We took down the Intrépidos punks.
I didn't even think this was dinner. I think this was a hard lunch, dude.
It may be.
Like, we got all this done before noon.
We're having a power lunch. And
you got to get those punks early, Bobby, because they're not fully awake in the morning. You know, they like to sleep in, and they're all
no good
hungover.
until like 3 in the
Exactly.
afternoon.
It's true.
Get 'em early.
Get
And
them
so
early.
they're all happy, but the chief looks perturbed. He's
Yeah.
looking off into the middle distance. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Like, what's the matter, chief? We won. And he goes, I just fear that this could be one link in a very long chain.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Intrépidos punks! And then we cut to a punk spray painting Finn on a brick wall.
Love it.
Artsy.
Artsy as fuck.
So, do you guys recommend this movie, Bobby? Obviously,
Honestly, big time.
yeah, I
This
do. It was
movie's
definitely
fun.
yes for me.
Yeah, this is so much fun. And good news, sports fans. Or good news, punks fans. There's a sequel.
Yeah, there
sequel
is.
month is right
Which,
around
by the way,
corner.
if you click on archive.org, I'm like, heh, Bobby's so dumb it was frozen. I'm going to click on this other version. Oh, it's the sequel.
Yeah, Venganza de los Punks coming soon to a Grindbin near you.
Oh, wow.
That's going to be fun. But yeah, I had a blast watching this movie. I am as uncomfortable as you guys with rape scenes, and there's a plenty. But they're done so weirdly rudimentary that it's not as upsetting as most rape scenes in movies. Like, conceptually, I am against it, but this is about the most palatable you're going to see these. And meanwhile, yeah, I loved G.I. Joe as a kid, so watching Mexican dreadnoughts run around running amok, and dudes are hitting pro wrestling moves, and yeah, just the siege of the ranch house at the end is so perplexingly bad. And yeah, I have no complaints.
I'm sorry, bad? That was the best scene of the whole movie. when
Yeah,
they
bad
did
isn't
the-
good. I'm trying to
You know
speak
what?
like a hip young person.
I have never seen a better. I wish it was a post-credits sequence, because man, that would have topped any Marvel post-credits I've ever seen in my life. Like, that was great. When a police chief just looks off into the distance and it's like, "There's going to be a sequel."
Yeah.
Intrépidos punks. It's like, yeah.
It's like, oh, you thought this was over? 1, 2, 3, 4. You know, it was really like oh shit.
Yeah, there's
we're
nothing
coming
better
back.
than like fucking Jason coming out of the lake, dude. This
Yeah.
is just like perfect.
So you're on board too, Mike?
Oh, the movie as a whole, it's look, A 1.5 speed will probably do you right for this movie.
Solid 40-minute wheel.
Yeah, because it drags. Oh boy, does it drag.
There's a lot of padding.
It's like, there's a lot of ballads in this selection. You get the slow song where you're just like, I got to go to the bathroom.
Intrépidos punks.
Yeah. And then when it picks up, it's great, but, you don't want to listen to the whole album, I'd say. But those hits, they're good hits. And there's a lot of fun to be had in the movie. So, yeah, I'd say overall it's a recommend. Tanner?
I'd say at a 1.5. I'm way into it. Only because those parts that just drag so horribly. But everything else is great. I highly recommend it just for the costumes alone on the punks, because those are fucking amazing costumes. It is a bizarre fever dream kind of costuming of they're punks, but they're more bikers. It's biker punk, cartoon, dreadnoughts, Mad Max. It's fascinating to just watch it on that level, and also to watch a foreign exploitation movie that's not Italian or Spanish. So even just country of origin, I think makes it something to even watch it for that reason.
Definitely.
Yeah, we don't really see much Mexican cinema when it comes to our show.
Yeah,
this is actually we've done one before.
That is true. We did Little Red
and the Monsters.
Little Red and the Monsters.
And
So
I'm
we
going to
have
say
some
right
time.
now, I would like us to get a Santo film in there somewhere.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
I think if we could do maybe Campeones de Justieras, which is where not Santo, but all the other luchadors do the Expendables, where they're rolling as a biker gang, but they're in their masks.
I think it's interesting because nowadays Mexican cinema is very highly regarded because some of our best filmmakers in the world are from Mexico.
Yeah, there definitely was
Del Toro
a renaissance and
and
upswing.
Curion and all sorts of great directors. I'm drawing a blank on the man who directed Birdman, which you hate how I pronounce it.
Harvey Birdman.
Birdman and Trinity Law.
I forget who directed that too.
And he made The
Alfonso
Revenant. No, that was
That's Spanish. He's Spanish, right?
no, that was the guy who made Gravity and Harry Potter 3 and all those, and Itumama.
Oh, right.
I thought so. But you know what?
Eatery 2. Thank you.
Right.
None of them would have been inspired to do this were it not for Francisco Guerrero bringing us Intrépidos punks.
Well, I think it's interesting because the only other movies you hear about in terms of Mexican cinema in this era would be El Topo and Holy Mountain.
Yeah.
Which is
These were your choices back then.
Yeah. But,
you could watch El Topo or Intrépidos punks.
yeah, because that's the other side of Mexican cinema you see where it's I don't think that was not commercially successful down there. I mean, it's an art film and everything like that, but you don't really know much about commercial Mexican films from this era very much because we just aren't exposed to them.
Were the luchador movies commercial mainstream films?
I don't know.
Because I know Santo was a huge star down there.
Oh,
I mean, I
you mean in
assume.
Mexico?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
in
those would have
Mexico,
been
those movies were the
Yeah.
blockbusters, right?
It's like what Tanner said with Little Red is that it was a successful there's a whole franchise of those movies down there, and that it was very popular for Mexican cinema, especially for bringing children to it and all that. But we don't get much of that up here, so it's kind of fun to see a movie that we still don't know whether or not it was popular down there or successful or anything like that, but it was certainly fun and interesting. And I always just like looking at this month's been a lot of fun other than having to travel around the world.
And being in this damn boat.
Yeah.
The movies have been a lot of fun.
But yeah, seeing all sorts of different cinema from the world in terms of what fits in the Grindbin. So with that being said, do you hear that sound? How do you guys think Bobby DeVito fit in the world of Intrépidos punks? Tanner, you look chomping at the bit there.
Yeah. Bobby and DeVito go to Mexico because they hear the weed is great. They're murdered instantly by the Intrépidos punks.
Oh, they get set on fire.
The van is stripped for parts, and some of those sweet trikes that we saw in the movie are parts of the straight arrow.
Oh, okay. Bobby?
Well, now that Tarzan,
Oh, boy.
is incarcerated, and we know that there are still punks out there, but they have no leadership. I think we're going to start hearing word of a new leader coming into position, Payaso Guapo.
Wow.
And people talk about his wild hair and his outlandish behavior. And you soon start noticing that the bikes and the cars are being led by a different kind of vehicle. One that doesn't move as fast, but definitely leaves more of an impact. And before you know it, the smuggling gets to be mostly joints moving forward. They're not going to worry about the blow anymore.
Yeah.
They're
No
sticking,
snow.
They're sticking to what Payaso
Put that
Guapo
snow on
knows
the
about.
go, you know?
That's right. Payaso Guapo knows about joints, and he knows about women. And that's all they focus on moving forward. And
Trunks full of women and joints.
And I haven't watched part 2, but I'm willing to bet that's what we're dealing with.
I think so.
And he's got his little companion. It's like Master Blaster. He's got his little guy who's just like, who runs Mexico?
You know, now I want more than anything for somebody to make a mod of Master Blaster that has the straight arrow and Bobby DeVito get out of it. That would be fucking great. Well, I think, as we know, the Juan Squad, they are the best cops in all of Mexico. And I feel like now that they've solved all the major cases, they're getting into the Mexican X-Files type of cases, right? They go, we have this strange one, and there's been these towns where they've reported women going missing. And it's kind of like a chupacabra type of thing, you know. But in this sense, they always say they hear this song by Mr. Sammy Johns that wafts through the air and a strange beeping noise in the middle of the night. And
Sammy Wands.
Yeah, Sammy Wands. And various women are kidnapped from their villages at night, never to be seen again. Or they do end up. They come back. They're full of shag and they're all wet with shag and waterbed water.
Wet with shag.
And they talk about the horrors of going inside. I don't know how you say yellow in Spanish. I think Naranja is orange, right?
Pelirrojo.
Pelirrojo.
I think so.
The Pelirrojo room and El Blanco bed. And the Juan Squad tracks them down, and they find their next case, and it's Bobby DeVito rolling around Mexico stealing women.
That's fantastic.
And smuggling joints.
I think it's Amarillo yellow.
Ah, there we go.
But
I think that's an alcohol.
I feel like somehow after seeing the costumes in this movie, that Bobby's line of "Are you into studs?" takes on a different meaning.
Oh, here we go. Very true. And you can't get that swastika out of the jeans. That's not really one that you can redesign into something. You know what I mean? You get a bad tattoo, maybe you can redesign
No, you can't.
it.
You just finish it, and it becomes like a
turn into
square.
like a cool S.
Yeah.
Oh, the Stussy. Yeah, you just turn it into a Stussy. Is that how they came up with Stussy? They're like, just take a swastika, make it a little, you know.
There's the old Kids in the Hall joke where it's like, it can be a man running. Just add a little dots.
Well, thanks again for joining us on another episode of the Grindbin. Tanner, where can everybody find you other than this raft in the middle of Mexico?
Well, I mean, as soon as
I'm hoping someone finds him.
If someone finds me on this raft, hopefully they can get me to Denver Pop Culture Con at the end of May, beginning of June, May 31st through June 2nd. I'll be there, signing books, living my life.
Here. You mean next week?
Next week. Come see me next week in Denver, and at San Diego Comic-Con, I'll be on some panels.
Whoa.
Come to San Diego.
You're doing panels?
I'm doing
Killing
panels.
it, dude. Oh, my God.
I'm kind of a big deal. Not really.
Are you going to do my idea where you just walk around and your costume is a booth?
Everyone I tell
Amazing.
that idea to thinks it's the greatest.
telling
So
you what,
maybe I
that'll
will
work.
do it for San Diego. That might be a good way to do it.
You can find us on grindhousefilm.com or Twitter at grindpod. We are the Grindbin Podcast on Instagram. Rate and review us 5 stars on iTunes or wherever you
Absolutely,
listen
it definitely
to.
helps our algorithms. And if you like what we're doing, also tell a friend about it. I always try to mention
Yeah,
that.
that'd be great.
Word of mouth is one of the strongest things you can do. That's how I ended up on this show.
For $2 a month, you can join our Patreon where we have bonus episodes. We just did one on Killer Clowns last month. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that was a good discussion we had. It's a new thing we're trying to start with is along with our usual shenanigans on the mini bin, we're doing literal mini bins where we're just going to take a movie and talk about
Yeah.
it. You know, not quite as in depth as we go on the regular show.
Still over
but
an hour.
Still ended up being over an hour.
We'll get
see
better at it.
We'll see
Yeah.
if that tightens up or if we just start doing that.
Yeah.
Because half length is still a mini.
That's true.
And wait, there's guys,
Oh,
there's
no.
something coming toward us.
Is that like is that a Jaws fin? We're in a lake.
Wow, there won't be a shark in a lake in Mexico. That doesn't make.
I don't know. I've never been here.
Oh God, I recognize.
Freshwater sharks?
Oh
recognize
my
that
God.
body.
Oh my
What?
God. Ah!
Well,
Guys?
Tanner, it looks like it's just you and me now.
Hey, Bobby? Oh, shit. They're gone. That's all the Dorito I can eat. All right, Grindbin listeners. Bobby, start the revolution.
Intrépidos punks. Intrépidos punks. En las carreteras y ciudades también. Robando al que sea. Rompe siempre la ley. En las motocicletas. Con sus chavas van. Buscando got no real rhythm.